could be freed as part of the early release scheme. Andy Burnham tells his Justice Secretary to do whatever is necessary to keep them in prison.
Well, as the Prime Minister sets off on his nationwide listening tour, could this issue derail his efforts to reconnect with voters across the country?
And breaking news this morning, bombshell details emerge of an alleged Iranian assassination threat against US President Donald Trump.
The day the small boats crisis became a big boats crisis. The French authorities warn there is now no limit to the number of migrants that people smugglers will put on a dinghy. It's after a record 230 people arrived on one vessel. Now that is larger than some commercial airplanes.
Britain is baking once again. The country braces for its fifth heat wave as three-quarters of England is now in drought.
Lots of dry, sunny, hot weather to come through this week, and that's the theme for today across the bulk of England and Wales. A little bit cloudier across Scotland and Northern Ireland with a bit of rain. I'll have more details coming up.
And it's that very special time of year again when GB News' Dougie Beattie dons his sombrero and heads to Benidorm. You don't want to miss that, coming up just after 9 o'clock this morning.
Barbie's got a new look. The doll's proportions, we're told, are closer to a real woman than they've ever been. But is her makeover really progress or just political correctness? And do we really care?
Mark. In sport this morning, sprinter Amy Hunt wins Britain's first gold medal of the European Athletics Championships. UEFA accused Gianni Infantino of deception, and Liverpool Football Club is about to get a huge Amazonian windfall.
Good morning, it's just gone 6 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Mark White. This is GB News Breakfast.
We have to talk about this image. Broken on GB News yesterday, we will say, by our very own Mark White. But this mega dinghy, this absolutely huge vessel, which
Juggernaut.
A juggernaut,
Mad.
Yeah. Isn't it? Everybody is talking about this image. It's one thing to hear about it. It's another thing to see it.
Yeah.
It's massive, isn't it?
And even that image is at a slight angle. There's another image where you see it fully side on, and it's just, I mean, it's so long. It's like 3 times longer than what would be considered the normal boats, which are big anyway. Look at that image there, and they're all just, they sit down the tubes on either side of the vessel, and then they're about 2 to 3 deep inside the vessel as well.
These are specially made then, right, Mark?
Yeah,
They must be.
They're made to order for the criminal gangs now in China. It's so sophisticated.
Yeah.
Well, you can see that,
because it's such a profitable regime. Right, say they're getting £3,000, we're told, is the sort of the asking price for a fare across the channel. 3,000 times 230.
Jeez.
You're talking the better part of £800,000 for one boat trip.
Good Lord.
And that's why you've got the French authorities saying, well, from now on, there is no limit to the amount of people they will try and put on a dinghy.
And does that make them much less safe than anything else?
Absolutely.
Because you'd imagine the length of it, and my goodness.
Not only the journey is now
Terrifying.
perilous, but it means if there has to be a rescue operation, what are the chances of getting 230 people plucked from the water in time?
Yeah, especially if you've only got, say, one patrol ship that's escorting this vessel across the channel. That's controversial enough, the fact that the French escort these boats across the English Channel anyway. But, you know, if it does get into trouble, and there's a high likelihood that at some point soon they will. And remember, there was a mega dinghy just last week. The engine caught fire and 170 people ended up in the water. Somehow, miraculously, they were all plucked to safety.
It was a miracle. Well, just if you're listening on the radio, just to give you an indicator of the size of this one vessel. It measures 49 feet, which is 7 foot larger than what we saw last month, which smashed the records just last month, would you believe? And it's 10 foot longer than a standard double-decker bus.
Crazy.
That is how long this boat is. So it's on the front page of every single paper this morning because it's just such a shocking image. Let us know what you think this morning, gbnews.com/yoursay. This craft holds more people than an EasyJet flight, says The Sun, and the crossing is going to cost us £25 million in tax. Let us know what you think. Let's have a look at our top story this morning, 6:05. The Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, has ordered the Justice Secretary, Alex Norris, to draw up plans to prevent the early release of PC Andrew Harper's killers.
Number 10 said the PM is far from accepting of the situation, but insisted it's not possible to exempt all individual manslaughter offenders from the early release scheme.
Well, PC Andrew Harper's mother has told GB News that the Prime Minister hasn't been in touch over the release. In fact, she's finding out the updates from GB News itself.
Yeah.
She's been writing in a statement and she says, as the mother of PC Harper, you would think the Prime Minister would want to keep me informed as to the current situation on whether my own son's killers will be released from jail.
Well, Deputy Editor of Spiked Online, Fraser Myers, joins us now.
Good morning.
They're making such a pig's ear of this. You'd think, they're the government. They can come up with a solution to ensure these two toll rags stay behind bars, surely.
You would think so, but it seems that every time Andy Burnham and the Justice Secretary have gone to officials saying, how do we keep them in? The Home Office officials have kind of responded with a computer says no attitude.
Yeah.
They're basically saying that if they were to keep those two people in specifically, there would be a legal challenge. There's no specific law also against the manslaughter of either police officers or public sector workers or frontline officers and things like that. So that also would be a no-go. But I think what this really comes down to is just the insanity of the early release policy in general. We have known that this has been coming up, this prospect of releasing criminals in the autumn, 5,000 criminals early. This has been coming up for a long time. The first early release was 2 years ago. What should have been an emergency response to prison overcrowding has now become routine. So you want to know, why hasn't the government been working on longer-term solutions or even better temporary solutions? So if you look at how does France deal with prison overcrowding? It has a similar kind of prison population to us. It has a similar prison capacity to us. What do? They stuff more prisoners in cells in tighter spaces. Sweden is dealing with its prison scandal by renting out empty prison spaces in Estonia. We just haven't seen any of that kind of creative thinking from the Labour government. It seems as if this is a problem that is going to come around every 6 months, every year. They're just going to release more prisoners rather than build capacity over the long term, which is obviously necessary. But there could be shorter-term solutions that I just don't think are being explored.
You feel for the family of PC Andrew Harper, don't you? His mother, who seems to be getting her updates from GB News, and from his colleagues. One of his colleagues speaking to The Telegraph today. I'm not sure if you've seen it. It's on the front page here. This is Chris Bushnell, and he was actually there the night that PC Andrew Harper was killed. And he says that this belittles police officers. It makes them feel worthless. He says any killer of an emergency worker has got to serve their full sentence. Andy, St Andrew Harper, did his duty that night. The least the government can do is show him some respect.
It is just an absolutely appalling situation. The justice system clearly isn't working if people are being set free early. And where do they go once they're set free? They're released into a probation system that is on its knees, that doesn't work, that can't actually keep tabs on dangerous criminals. I think it's particularly dangerous for people who have been victims of things like domestic abuse, where they are a target of the perpetrator. I think lots of people have a right to be extremely worried about this. And it does feel as if, the fact that this early release scheme keeps coming up time and time again, that this is presented as the only solution to prison overcrowding, is a slap in the face to victims of crime. It's not taking justice seriously. So, again, there has to be a much more thought-out, longer-term solution on this.
I thought Harper's Law had been passed, which gives a mandatory life sentence to those who kill emergency workers. Wouldn't that just be an easy way of keeping those specific perpetrators in jail?
Yeah, the thing that people forget is that, luckily under the British system, Parliament is sovereign and they can pass any law they want. People may remember a few years ago there was a law passed to basically exonerate every single post office worker who was condemned. You can use Parliament to override court judgments. I think the fact that this isn't being done, Maybe it might take an emergency session in Parliament. It may take reconvening Parliament over the summer. But this is an emergency situation for many people, not just the release of these two killers, but so many people, so many other dangerous people being released. You would think that this is something that the new government would want to show that it's leading on the front foot on and dealing with quickly.
Well, the issue, they say, with the emergency workers legislation is that it's not retrospective. But as you say, they could easily pass legislation, an amendment that could deal with that if they want to. In fact, Kemi Badenoch said she would be willing, as she said, I'm sure other opposition parties would be willing to sit down with the government just to get this through very quickly to ensure it could work. But as I say, the government just seems to be tying itself up in knots here. And it's becoming an embarrassing spectacle now for the government.
Yes, and it did seem as if when Andy Burnham announced a review on the early release scheme, when he first came in, it did seem as if he was trying to get on the front foot on this, but instead they're now dragging their feet. Instead, I just don't think it's a political priority for them, and I think they've made a big mistake here. I think they've badly miscalculated the public mood.
OK, Fraser Myers, thank you very much. We'll see you in the next hour. Let us know what you think on that one. I know you've all got a view. gbnews.com/you'll say. We should say that a Ministry of Justice spokesperson has given us this statement saying the death of PC Andrew Harper was a horrific crime. Our thoughts are with his family and friends, and we share the anger from the police community that we are in this position. We have been clear that we wanted to go further and block more offenders from getting out sooner into their sentence, but could not do so without risking prisons reaching capacity and collapsing. If that happened, police could not make arrests, court could not remand offenders, and there would be unchecked criminality on our streets.
Now, moving on, shocking details have emerged after US President Donald Trump was reportedly smuggled away in a catering van to escape an Iranian assassination threat.
Well, let's get some details, shall we, from GB News chief US correspondent Ben Leo, who joins us now. Morning to you, Ben. Bombshell details emerging here. What can you tell us?
Yes, good morning to you both and to viewers and listeners. Yeah, extraordinary details, bombshell revelations, almost like it's from a film plot. Last month, President Trump travelled on Air Force One he was coming back from a NATO summit. He stopped off in Turkey, mysteriously, before heading back to Great Britain at RAF Mildenhall in Suffolk. However, details have now emerged that in Turkey, when he was on the ground in Ankara, Secret Service, the intelligence services had wind of an Iranian plot to possibly assassinate him. We haven't got details on exactly how that would have manifested. Could it have potentially been a missile strike on Air Force One? We don't know, but such was the seriousness of that threat. President Trump, bizarrely, and it seems appropriately now, was smuggled off Air Force One in an airport catering van. He was then taken onto a waiting Air Force C-32A, which is an American military plane, before flying to the RAF base in Suffolk. When pressed on the flight change in Turkey, Trump dodged the question but told reporters last month that he was #1 on the list for Iran and said that he just fancied flying in another plane for old time's sake. But the details now suggest that the Secret Service, the intelligence services, thought the threat was so serious that, as I said, they did a sort of Jose Mourinho-style smuggling out of the plane in a catering van into this other military plane. Now, this all stems from Iran. President Trump, of course, was president at the time when the United States assassinated Qasem Soleimani, the leader of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, back in 2020. In 2023, on the 3rd anniversary of Soleimani's death, they came out, the IRGC, and said that President Trump, along with 90 other people, Americans, were top of their kill list. The president himself, even last month, told reporters at the New York Post that I've been on Iran's list for a long time. That's what we're dealing with. The only thing is I've left instructions. If anything happens, they will just literally bomb them at levels that they've never seen before. Essentially what this was, being smuggled and bundled into a catering van, was a bait and switch tactic. Air Force One was effectively turned into a decoy for any kind of Iranian attack. But the interesting caveat is Air Force One was still full of White House staff, of dozens of journalists. So President Trump was in this other airplane. Nobody else knew about it, not the staff on board Air Force One, not the journalists. They all thought he was still on board when they eventually took off again at Ankara. And potentially, it has to be said, President Trump left staff, left journalists on board that plane, knowing that potentially Iran could have somehow struck it with a missile, potentially anything else. As I said, we don't know the exact details of how Iran planned to assassinate President Trump. But yeah, extraordinary revelations. The president bundled out of Air Force One secretly, undercover, into a catering van and onto a separate military plane in this possible Iranian assassination attempt.
Yeah, that's, I think, an indication for those that were remaining on Air Force One, their value, their worth in the greater scheme of things. But we certainly remember that at the time. There was a lot of chatter around the fact that Air Force One seemed to be making an unscheduled stop in the UK before continuing its journey to the UK. And I just wonder now what the reaction from the US will be towards Iran, especially as they seem to be getting ever more belligerent in terms of the negotiations. But Ben Leo, thanks very much indeed for bringing us that update. Really appreciate you staying up for us.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Now, 16 minutes past 6. It is getting hot out there, isn't it? Amber heat health alerts are set to kick in across England today. Temperatures predicted to reach up to 36 degrees Celsius later this week.
And if that's not enough, almost 3/4 of England is now in drought. It's the last heat wave of the summer, or could there be more to come?
Well, the man with all the answers, as always, is weather journalist and friend of the programme, Nathan Rao. Good morning to you,
Looking
Nathan.
very summery, Nathan.
Good morning.
Yes,
well,
lovely tropical shirt, Nathan.
if ever there was a time to turn up to GB News looking tropical, now is that time.
It's tropical out there, isn't it? 5th heat wave on the way.
It really is. 5th heat wave of the year. I think it's the 4th heat wave of summer, because if we remember, we had a heat wave in May, which was the spring. Another one, just as we thought it was safe to turn off the air conditioners, we're back up into the mid-30s. From today in the south of the country, but going through towards the end of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, we think is going to be the peak of the heat wave, when we could be looking at 36, possibly 37 again. Not quite the record for August, which is 38.5, maybe. But another heat wave, yeah.
And of course, you've got... we are suffering in the heat. As you mentioned, if you're lucky enough to have air conditioning, that's great. But the really serious issue here is the fact that our farmers are really struggling with their crops.
They really are. And this is a result of the drought we've had now more than 40 days where parts of the country have seen no rainfall whatsoever. The Met Office last month actually released some figures about how bad this drought has been. And it's one of the driest Julys, if not the driest for 200 years, the driest July in England, the driest July in Wales. And of course, with that lack of rainfall, crops are going to be suffering not only the yield of the crops, but the quality of the crops, the timing of the harvests, the effect on livestock, feeds. So all of this feeds into a bigger picture of how impactful this summer has been, both in terms of the extraordinary temperatures that we've had, but also this drought. And then in parts of the country, particularly the south, there's no real sign of the rainfall that we need on the way. A bit of it coming into Scotland and the north, a bit, but where we need, and you know, 3/4 of the country is now in drought, there's not much on the way, unfortunately.
How long is this heat wave set to last, Nathan?
This particular spell of hot weather, or heat wave, which is 3 or more days in a row of temperatures above threshold conditions, is going to last until the end of this week. It is going to turn fresher at the weekend, but the overall pattern, so that's good news.
Yeah.
The overall pattern for August is high pressure, and high pressure is always what we talk about when we talk about hot weather and dry weather. It's the heat dome that we've been talking about, the heat dome that's creeping up from the continent. This looks likely to be a picture throughout the rest of August and into the start of autumn. The Met Office say there's a chance of more heat waves on the way, but in terms of this particular one, we can sort of breathe the sigh of relief from the weekend.
OK, Nathan, thanks very much. Really appreciate you coming in and bringing us right up to speed.
Thanks, Nathan. We're going to see you again in the 8 o'clock hour.
You are
more
certainly,
updates. In the meantime, let's see what the weather is looking specifically where you are. Let's get all the details with Alex Burkill.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Lots of dry, sunny weather to be had through today, and it is going to be a bit hotter than yesterday, but temperatures rising further through this week. Now there is some rain around across the north of Scotland. Here it will be cloudier and a few outbreaks of rain, but nothing particularly heavy. Elsewhere for much of Northern Ireland, the rest of Scotland and across England and Wales, it is going to be dry. Not great news for those in desperate need of some rain with the ongoing drought, but yes, plenty of dry weather to come this week. And it is going to be a bit warmer than yesterday. Temperatures in the south peaking in the high 20s or low 30s, even further north where we get to low to mid 20s. It's going to feel pretty warm with generally light winds and some bright sunny weather around. Through this evening, a bit of rain affecting the Western Isles, perhaps Shetland as well. Elsewhere across Scotland, yes, there'll be some cloud across central, eastern, southern parts, but it should be largely fine. Northern Ireland staying largely fine as well, just the odd spot of rain towards the far west. And then for England and Wales, it's a dry picture through this evening, and we're ending the day in a similar note to how we'll have spent most of it, with lots of late sunshine. Overnight, England and Wales staying mostly clear and it will be dry. Scotland and Northern Ireland, however, is cloudier. There'll be a few outbreaks of rain coming in, particularly western Northern Ireland and feeding into western parts of Scotland, and some of them could be a little bit on the heavy side. It is going to be a relatively warm night, temperatures holding up for many in the mid to high teens, particularly in your more built-up areas. Temperatures are rising further then as we go into Wednesday, with more hot air being dragged in from the south. So with that then, lots of sunshine for England and Wales. Scotland, Northern Ireland and the far north of England, a bit cloudier at times, and outbreaks of rain could be heavy, could be a bit thundery at times tomorrow, but they will be quite hit and miss. With all that sunshine and that hotter air coming into southern areas, well, temperatures are going to be even higher than today, peaking around 33.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Bowl.
They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Welcome back to Breakfast. It's 24 minutes past 6. Now, politicians across Europe are warning that the continent is under threat of invasion. It's almost 2 weeks after an estimated 80,000 Moroccans illegally stormed the EU during the Ceuta crisis.
And our own shores have seen a record 230 migrants arrive on a single dinghy, a juggernaut of a dinghy, on Monday, with almost 1,000 people in total having crossed over the weekend.
Well, joining us now is former Shadow Europe Minister Khalid Mahmood. Very good morning to you, Mr. Mahmood. Would you agree with that assessment from politicians across Europe that the continent is under the threat of invasion?
Well, very much so. And I think Mark's report into what's going on through Belarus, Lithuania, is a real concern, has been for some time. We assume that once the change of the president in Belarus, there might be hopefully better controls, but we don't quite see that at the moment coming through. Corruption is endemic, and therefore these people people smugglers are able to pay those people to come through. These tunnels that they dig aren't just little tunnels, as you've shown. They are proper dug tunnels with proper infrastructure and sort of shafts inside to control all that. So this is a real concern. And this has been going on for some time, also from Greece, as we've had in the past, but also Italy and Spain as well. So there's a real concern that Europe is going to actually unite to sort this out.
Yeah, we were looking at images there of this huge dinghy now. You can't really even call them a dinghy. This huge made-to-order boat that 230 migrants were on yesterday. We can take a look at these tunnels that you mentioned there, Khalid. It's extraordinary to see them being dug again across. This is the latest one. Below the border fence between Belarus and Lithuania. There have been other tunnels in Poland, breaches in Latvia. It seems that Alexander Lukashenko, a key ally of Russia, is determined, according to what the European Union is saying, to destabilise the European Union's eastern borders.
Well, that appears to be the actual intent of these tunnels, because these are constructed, as you know, fairly well, and they aren't done by hand just alone. I think there's proper equipment used to do this. And I think that's a real concern for all of us. But I think also what we need to look at, as you said, this not so little dinghy, which had over 200 people in it, came through from France as well. I think the time is now for us to deal with France. France has been, for a long time, we've been trying to do deals with France. We've given them a lot of money in order to try and stop some of this stuff, but they haven't. I think time is now for us to actually take real action against France, which is that we need to take them to the European Court of Human Rights and deal with what they're doing, because putting those people and allowing those people to come from their borders to the UK, I think, is an offence under the EHRC, and I think we need to deal with them. And I think what I would advise the government to do is to take action, saying that these people are let on to these waters, purely putting them at risk.
What do you make of the government, who would obviously say that overall numbers of migrants arriving are down? They're down 43% compared to this time last year. You wonder if those figures can hold and if those numbers can continue to go in that direction when you see images such as this one on the front page of every single newspaper. Is this a game changer, do you think, in terms of these people smuggling gangs and how they operate in the channel?
Well, absolutely. I mean, this is very, very significant, but very serious also. Imagine one of those things sinking. Imagine the loss of life that would take place. And I think the real problem here is that we have got to take France to task on this. I think the best thing for us to do is to take them to the court and say, you're allowing these people to come through, risking their lives and making it much more difficult for us. The only way these people come through is when France allows them to come through. We need to stop that.
OK, Khalid Mahmood, really good to get your assessment this morning. Thank you very much for joining us on GB News Breakfast.
Thank you, Khalid. Well, a Home Office spokesperson has said this about the mega dinghy. We're making progress with the number of small boat crossings down this year, and the lowest number recorded for the month of July since 2020.
But we must go further, which is why we've signed a payment by results deal with the French to put 40% more boots on the ground on French beaches.
Right, moving on now at just after 6:30. Here is your traffic and travel update.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M27 westbound is closed between junctions 7 and 5 near Southampton Airport. There is a collision on the M2 westbound between junctions 4 and 3 near Chatham. The M6 is closed between junctions 10 and 11 in Walsall, and the M1 southbound has an obstruction between junctions 16 and 15A in Northampton. The A14 westbound is closed between junctions 24B and 23. In Scotland, the M9 westbound is closed between junctions 7 and 9. And on the trains, Elizabeth Line and Heathrow Express services are heavily reduced to and from Heathrow terminals. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Now, do stay with us till it's calm. Paul's here with all your sports.
Well, hey.
See, the thing is, I'm exhausted just walking in the building. We're just walking around the corner. But British Athletics have a new golden girl. There she is, 24-year-old Amy Hunt. More about her in just a second.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Britain is not just a geographical expression. We are a people bound together by history and culture that are distinctively British. Join me to celebrate our music, theatre, artworks and literature, which we can explore and enjoy together.
Everybody's welcome.
Sunday with Michael Costello. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
the late edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
Because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, late edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, late edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dormy, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
We're back. It's sports time. Paul Coyte's here with us. Morning.
Morning. Should we do some athletics to start with?
I love
Why
it.
not?
I think it'd be good. So it's European Athletics Championship, which is going on. In 92 years that the European Athletics Championship has been running, how many times do you think it's been held in Great Britain before today?
4 times.
Never.
Oh.
Is that unbelievable?
Greedy Europeans.
Is it?
What are they like?
I know. It's 92 years. Never has it been here. I can believe it.
So
I can't even go any higher. I'm so surprised.
Why would that be?
I don't see you're doing it. I don't know. In fact, we could continue this conversation. Only dogs, athletic dog fan, will be going, what did he say? So listen, Amy Hunt, she is a fantastic athlete. She came of age yesterday. So we're talking about Keely Hodgkinson, but this is the golden girl of the moment, Amy Hunt. So she won the 100 metres yesterday. By the way, the last time, 2 years ago, it was Dina Asher-Smith. So that's 2 years running. The British athletes have won the women's 100 metres. 24 years old, Cambridge graduate, silver in the Commonwealth Games. She's very smart. Silver in the Commonwealth Games 2 weeks ago. She got silver in Paris. So this is her first major gold medal. And the race, I mean, obviously it's very short, 11 seconds. In fact, it was 11 seconds dead. Started off halfway through the track or halfway through the race. She's 5th. And then, you know, when you see that, it's like Usain Bolt used to do that. And just powered through. Just a brilliant performance. And we also won 4x400 metre. Well, actually won a silver in that. But let's hear from Amy. So Amy was spoken to straight afterwards, and this is what she had to say after the race.
Oh my gosh, so euphoric. I could have screamed. I could have cried. Obviously, everyone knows I'm quite emotional. I'm not afraid of showing my emotions, but I'm trying to keep it as much kind of inside me because I obviously have 3 more events to go. But yeah, it was so incredibly special for me. This being the first Europeans in the UK and also a track that I've run at so much growing up.
Excited and like she said, she spent lots of time on that track.
Yeah, I mean, listen, fantastic news for her and all of the team GB out doing the athletics. They're doing so well, but I always worry. You know, this is a European competition.
Yeah.
When you come up against the Americans and the Jamaicans, how do we fare actually in world record terms? Are we sort of up there?
World record terms, I mean that's a different story altogether. But she's silver in the Olympics, so she is up there. I mean she's up there with the best. And how do you compare the Europeans to Commonwealth Games? It's horses for courses really, Mark, because it all depends which athletes who are so good in, you know, are actually featured in different races, whether it be someone in the Commonwealth or whether it be Europeans. But, you know, this is a great event. But what actually did concern me was the amount of empty seats that there were. And I've seen this before in athletics, and I love athletics, and I think athletics is really important. And these are fantastic sports people that then really have to work. I mean, look at this. See, this was in Birmingham, and I really was surprised because I've complained about when you see athletics around the world and you think, why is there so many empty seats? If it's held in London, when it's been held, we've had World Championships back in 2017, had the Diamond League recently, complete sellout at the London Stadium. But there's a lot of empty seats. And
maybe that's why they don't have it here in the UK.
Well, you know what? No, but seriously, I don't think that's the reason. And I've looked at stuff, and it could be, I know ticket prices are quite expensive, so it could be that. Someone was complaining about the fact that you can only take public transport to actually get to the stadium. You can't park around there. Maybe it's the prices, and maybe people seeing that will now think, you know what, I want to go. So people around Birmingham, go and see it, because it's a fantastic event. So it runs until the end of the week, and got Keely Hodgkinson running on Friday.
We
in the
love.
meters. Gianni?
Yeah.
To give you a Gianni Infantino update.
Yeah.
They're after him, aren't they?
Are they?
They're going after him, especially with the story about the affair. There's the alleged affair that he had with the woman that worked at UEFA that was paid off, and there's the presidents of UEFA, CONCACAF, and Asian Football Federation have all called for him to resign. He's now been accused of deception over his World Cup sell-off plan. And there's talk about rival tournaments. I mean, this guy, if he survives this, I mean, really. Now, interestingly, the countries that have backed him, Qatar, there was a World Cup in Qatar.
Yeah.
So they're going to. Mexico backed him. The World Cup was held in Mexico. And also, Donald Trump on Truth Social has now had his say What do you think he says?
Oh, well, I would imagine that he's backing his mate.
Johnny. About Johnny.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, Johnny, he said FIFA would be making a terrible mistake if for any reason they consider replacing Johnny. He is fantastic, having presided.
You, direct quote.
There you go, having presided over the most successful World Cup by 4 times. How they work that out. It will never be as successful or profitable again. And that's the problem. It's not about the money, it's about the sport. It's not about it being profitable, it's about people affording to be able to go and see the World Cup, and that's just one of the things. And whether Johnny is going to make it through this, I will be amazed.
Well, these regional associations like UEFA can bleat all they want, but they don't have any power really over
It's
FIFA.
votes.
Yeah.
Well, they do, because it's votes. It's so many votes that are there in FIFA. So when he wants to run as president, or if they want to overthrow him, it's like any government. You've got to have the votes with you. But whether he has, this is it. He's now politicking. He's now going around the world.
The Africans.
Exactly.
He's got the Mexicans.
He's speaking to all his pals. So it really is so interesting to see how it's going to run. So we'll see. Finally, should we have a look at the golf?
Yep, very quickly.
Look at this. New Jersey on Saturday, Live Golf. Charles Schwartzel of South Africa. Have a look at this. Hits the ball into the water. Look very carefully. Now, there goes the ball. It's landing over into the water. And now watch. There's the ball.
Yeah, lands in the water, yeah.
Did you see what happened there?
Did it get guzzled up by a fish?
Guzzled up by a fish.
Oh,
So
fishy business.
It is. So he had to. I think you actually have to play the fish, but the fish disappeared. So if he'd used like a sand iron,
fish, I'd imagine.
whip the fish in, but the fish would probably be too big to go in the hole. But there you go. Nobody often that you get your ball eaten by a fish.
Oh, there you go. Thanks, Coity.
Stunned into silence, I think.
We are. Never seen anything quite like it.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Now, there's just time to tell you about the Great British Giveaway now, and I believe you have until Friday to grab your chance to win £60,000 in tax-free cash, plus a real gold bar. Here are all the details that you need.
Welcome to Orlis Santi by Domes Resorts. I'm in one of their beautiful sea view rooms. Luxurious, right? And there's just 2 weeks left to see how you too could be enjoying the 5-star lifestyle. There's over £65,000 in cash and gold to be won. First, you can bank an incredible £60,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. That's cash you could save, spend the rest of the year spending, or just relax somewhere like here. The award-winning Soma Spa will also give you a fine gold bullion bar worth over £5,000. Just make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 21st of August.
For a chance to win, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
21st of August.
Crab racing.
So you've got a bit longer to enter the competition. Good luck. OK, still to come. Apparently, dogs can read their owners' moods just by looking at their faces.
We're going to go through that and much more in the papers with Anna Firth and James Schneider. Morning, you two. Chat to you in just a second.
But first, here's the forecast for some of your top European destinations.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hot air is never too far away across parts of Europe at the moment. The highest temperatures, the peak of the heat, has been across central and eastern parts, but we're going to see further hot air coming in from the west through the next few days. And with that, it's often dry, which is going to make the wildfire issue increasingly severe, albeit a few scattered thunderstorms dotted around, but these aren't going to be especially widespread, with lots of hot and sunny weather to come into the weekend.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Morris, tell us exactly what is going to happen here this evening.
So what we have this evening as part of the wider FLAD Coming to Belfast programme is essentially 2 hours of Northern Irish Unionist Ulster Scots culture, dance, tradition, music. So we'll have got about a cast of 200, and like you said, we're covering flute bands, traditional fife and drum with lambeg drums. We've got a piper in there as well, a couple of Highland dance groups. We've just seen one rehearse there, absolutely fantastic, and some drum music from County Armagh as well. So it's 2 hours to do an absolute broad brush off the entire culture, and whenever you're trying to piece a show like that together, 2 hours just isn't enough.
Of course, you yourself spent a lot of time as a drum major outside this, didn't you? I mean, you served.
Yes, I did. I spent 23 years in the household division. I originally joined the Irish Guards, transferred to the Scots Guards.
GB News, the People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Former NBA player Royce White says he's declaring for next year's women's NBA draft, claiming he now identifies as a female for the purpose of playing professional basketball. There he is on your screens. He's 6'8", he's massive, he's built like a brick, you know what. He's the former first-round pick in the NBA, which if you're not familiar with what the NBA is in the draft, basically when he was playing, he was all the NBA team's first choice for them to join his team. He was a quality player. He says he'd be unstoppable in the women's NBA and has vowed to use the women's changing room if allowed to compete. White, who is seeking the Republican Senate nomination in Minnesota, says he wants to expose what he sees as flaws in transgender inclusion rules in women's sport. And it all comes after former NBA star Enes Kanter, Freedom, also announced plans to declare for the 2027 women's NBA draft as well.
The People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Fury over a royal funeral plan for shamed Andrew. Should he get a royal funeral?
Emphatically not. He is a private citizen. He lost his HRH, title of prince, and also stepped down from numerous patronages. He's being, of course, as we all know, investigated by the police. The facts of the matter are that he is in disgrace. As a private citizen, he should most emphatically not get a royal ceremonial funeral. This is a matter for the Cabinet Office of the Royal Household. I can only presume that it's something that they haven't attended to, because there would be public outrage. The last YouGov poll last month, his popularity is 2%. You can't get worse than that.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Welcome back to Breakfast. We're going through the papers this morning in the company of Conservative MP, former Conservative MP Anna Firth, and former Labour advisor James Schneider. Morning, you two. Good to see you both. Anna, let's start with the front page of the Times, shall we? And Andy Burnham is now demanding a plan to keep PC Harper's killers in jail. There's been a bit of political ping-pong going on with this case.
Well, I mean, this is a real test, isn't it, for the new Prime Minister, because about 3 weeks ago now, sounding all tough, there's got to be a pause, and it turns out that he has managed to make exactly the wrong decision, because he was presented with options, and had he chosen the option to classify that people, all prisoners sentenced to either more than 10 years or more than 7 years are not eligible for early release, then that would solve this problem. But I'm afraid, being Andy Burnham, he almost certainly hadn't studied the detail. He's made the wrong choice, and now, of course, he's got to make his Justice Secretary do the homework that he should have done in the first place. Because the principle here is that if you kill one of our brave police officers and you are sentenced to 13 years, you do every single year of that sentence. They should not be eligible for early release. He's the Prime Minister. He should be immediately instigating a review to change the law to make sure that Harper's law, which Lizzie Harper campaigned so bravely and so long for, is actually given effect.
Yeah, James, he really needs to make his mind up on this. It's becoming excruciating now.
And you don't have to change the law to change the issue, which is that the Home Office officials' advice that they're giving is basically what would make their life easiest, which is if you let out this category of people, like people convicted of manslaughter, then that gives a little bit of space in the prison system, which is overflowing. There are much better, harder decisions to take, like there are how many thousands? 17,000 prisoners on remand, so they haven't yet been convicted of something. Some portion of that, there must be several hundred of those people who are less risk to the public than someone convicted of manslaughter. There are thousands of people who have convicted non-violent crimes. There are thousands of people who are in for drug offences. All of these things would be more difficult for the civil service to manage, but would relieve the pressure on the prison system far easier, and you wouldn't have this particular problem where we're talking about, I think, hard cases making bad law. If we're trying to change the law for one specific case, it's going to have unintended consequences elsewhere when you don't need to do that.
But that point that you've just made, James, is actually a very good point.
Thank you.
17,000 of the prison population, which is only about 100,000, so nearly 20% are on remand. Now, when I was a barrister many, many years ago doing bail applications, the fear was that if they were going to abscond, you had to remand them in custody. Now we have electronic tags. So actually, if they were to abscond, you wouldn't be able to find them and bring them back to court. Now with the electronic tagging system, isn't that the solution?
Yeah, but the scandal there is they've found that 9,000 people on tags are not being properly monitored.
Well, come on, this is not rocket science. This is what technology is there to do.
Isn't it? So you've got nobody who can follow up the technology.
No.
That is a big problem also with the early release. With the previous round of early release, for every 100 people released, there's 101 people returning from probation. That doesn't mean every single one of those people is returned, but there are other people coming back from probation. That system also has been stripped back to the bone over the last decade and a half or so, and isn't doing the job of monitoring rehabilitation.
But sometimes you've just got to make the simple choices. Do you want killers like PC Harper's killers out in the community, or do you want people on remand who haven't yet been convicted of anything in the community? It's common sense. Make the right decision, Prime Minister.
It's one of the ideas that has been mooted but deemed to be too expensive or too impractical. Another one, interested to know what you both think of this, involves turning a former holiday camp into a prison, but that was rejected, it seems, because officials said it would have only been suitable for Category D prisoners.
Yeah, I noticed that, and my first thought was, I'm not sure about a holiday camp being suitable. Sends the wrong message completely, in my opinion. But we've got plenty of disused prisons that are currently lying empty because then they haven't been modernised. Well, come on, let's use one of those. You know, even if it's army barracks that are disused, that is the appropriate place to be putting people who have broken our laws. They shouldn't be put up in anywhere that's better than that.
Or James, as Nigel Farage is advocating, foreign national offenders could be sent to a third country like El Salvador. Sounds like a good plan to me.
I mean, this is a really ludicrous and would be an extremely expensive approach. It actually hasn't grabbed that many headlines given how outlandish it is. And relative to Anna's very sensible thing about having more prisoners on remand, not in prison, but tagged, or looking at non-violent offenders or any of the other things that we've discussed, that all sounds much more sensible than a complex and expensive third country agreement.
I agree. The only thing I would say, well, El Salvador. We all saw those images on our TV screens yesterday. It did look pretty unsavoury,
but then it wouldn't be those type of prisons.
Right. Okay. But the actual principle here isn't necessarily wrong. Sweden actually sends overflow prisoners to Estonia to prison. You know, we were at one point, weren't we, looking at having camps in Albania where we were going to send illegal migrants. The whole principle of offshoring some of these problems isn't necessarily a bad one. And if it means that we keep killers of our brave policemen in prison for longer, then frankly, I'm all for it.
You don't need to send people to El Salvador in order to not release prisoners on early release who.
Well, we're running out of space here, so what's the answer?
No, but we've just discussed a whole series of them. If you're talking also about foreign prisoners, Anna was telling me earlier that we have, I think, 3,000 prisoners who are foreign prisoners from countries that we have returns agreements with. So that could do it straight there.
James,
Thank you both.
Anna, thank you very much. See you in 45 minutes' time. Let's get a check now on the weather with Alex Burkill.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Lots of dry, sunny weather to be had through today, and it is going to be a bit hotter than yesterday, but temperatures rising further through this week. Now, there is some rain around across the north of Scotland. Here it will be cloudier and a few outbreaks of rain, but nothing particularly heavy. Elsewhere, for much of Northern Ireland, the rest of Scotland and across England and Wales, it is going to be dry. Not great news for those in desperate need of some rain with the ongoing drought, but yes, plenty of dry weather to come this week. And it is going to be a bit warmer than yesterday. Temperatures in the south peaking in the high 20s or low 30s, even further north where we get to low to mid 20s. It's going to feel pretty warm with generally light winds and some bright sunny weather around. Through this evening, a bit of rain affecting the Western Isles, perhaps Shetland as well. Elsewhere across Scotland, yes, there'll be some cloud across central, eastern, southern parts, but it should be largely fine. Northern Ireland staying largely fine as well, just the odd spot of rain towards the far west. And then for England and Wales, it's a dry picture through this evening, and we're ending the day in a similar note to how we'll have spent most of it, with lots of late sunshine. Overnight, England and Wales staying mostly clear and it will be dry. Scotland and Northern Ireland, however, it's cloudier. There'll be a few outbreaks of rain coming in, particularly western Northern Ireland and feeding into western parts of Scotland, and some of them could be a little bit on the heavy side. It is going to be a relatively warm night, temperatures holding up for many in the mid to high teens, particularly in your more built-up areas. Temperatures are rising further then as we go into Wednesday, with more hot air being dragged in from the south. So with that then, lots of sunshine for England and Wales. Scotland, Northern Ireland and the far north of England, a bit cloudier at times and outbreaks of rain. Could be heavy, could be a bit thundery at times tomorrow, but they will be quite hit and miss. With all that sunshine and that hotter air coming into southern areas, well, temperatures going to be even higher than today, peaking around 33.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M27 westbound is closed between junctions 7 and 5 near Southampton Airport after a fire. The M25 clockwise has a stranded vehicle between junctions 24 and 25 near Potters Bar. The M6 is closed between junctions 10 and 11 in Walsall. The M11 southbound has an incident at junction 14 in Girton. In Scotland, the M9 westbound is closed between junctions 7 and 9. And on the trains, Elizabeth Line and Heathrow Express services are heavily reduced to and from Heathrow terminals. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Welcome to Orlis Santi by Domes Resorts, and there's just 2 weeks left to see how you too could be enjoying the 5-star lifestyle. First, you can bank an incredible £60,000. We'll also give you a fine gold bullion bar worth over £5,000.
For a chance to win, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. The Prime Minister demands that PC Andrew Harper's killers stay behind bars.
After weeks of concerns that the two men could be freed as part of the early release scheme, Andy Burnham tells his Justice Secretary to do whatever is necessary to keep them in prison.
Well, as the Prime Minister sets off on his nationwide listening tour, could this issue derail his efforts to reconnect with voters across the country?
Breaking news this hour, bombshell details emerge of an alleged Iranian assassination threat against US President Donald Trump.
The day the small boats crisis became a big boats crisis. French authorities warn there is now no limit to the number of migrants that people smugglers will put on a dinghy. It's after a record 230 people arrived on a single vessel. Now this and that is much larger than some commercial aeroplanes.
Britain is baking once again. The country braces for its fifth heat wave as 3/4 of England is now in drought.
Lots of dry, sunny, hot weather to come through this week, and that's the theme for today across the bulk of England and Wales. A little bit cloudier across Scotland and Northern Ireland with a bit of rain. I'll have more details coming up.
And it's that very special time of year when GB News' Doogie Beattie dons his sombrero and heads to Benidorm. You don't want to miss that. It's coming up later on the programme.
Oh, dearie, dearie, dearie. And Barbie's got a new look. The doll's proportions, we're told, are closer to a real woman's than they've ever been. But is her makeover really progress or just political correctness? We're debating it coming later in the show.
And I really enjoyed Mark doing that. And in sport this morning, sprinter Amy Hunt wins Britain's first gold medal of the European Athletics Championships. UEFA accused Gianni Infantino of deception now, and Liverpool Football Club is about to get a huge Amazonian windfall.
Good morning, it's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Mark White. Welcome along to GB News Breakfast.
Can't wait to catch up with Doogie later.
Oh, well, I mean, he has such a lovely time out there.
He does. How long is he out there for?
The week.
He's a week in Benidorm.
Yeah, we've sent him on his hollybobs.
To cool down, I suppose, from here. It's probably a lot cooler there than it is here.
He's having a great time.
It was a legendary expedition the last time he went out there.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
We decided that we're going to repeat it.
Yeah.
We're making an annual event.
Yeah, and already he's meeting some interesting characters, especially as the day goes on, they get more interesting.
I can imagine that is the case. And I imagine Doogie gets more interesting as the day goes on as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's take a look and get a flavour of what's to come with Doogie later.
You lived in Spain for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I used to live in Marbella, and then I came here for my 50th birthday party, and we've just come every year now. We love it.
Oh, you're never 50, are you?
You're such a charmer.
I can feel romance might be in the air there between you and our guests.
Well, you never know.
What did he say?
You're going to get me divorced, Martin Domney. I swear to God, you're going to get me divorced. Oh, God, why did you get divorced? I spent the week in Benidorm for GB News. Yeah.
Viva Doogie Beattie, more of you in the next half. You make it out alive.
Bye. Bye.
A news just in, Doogie's wife has asked if we could send him back out again next year.
First flight home, please. And this is only day one. We've still got a whole week of coverage, so who knows what he's going to get up to.
Oh, bless him. What a great week.
Anyway, we're talking to him morning after night before, talking to him later on in the programme. What time are we talking to him?
Oh, my goodness, really?
9:15.
So will he still be up, or will he have had a little sleep by then, do you think?
Well, it's 10:15 Spanish time, so you've got to think he'd be up having his breakfast.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Well, egg and bacon.
Full English,
yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
Going to go to Spain for full English.
Absolutely.
Egg and chips on the beach.
Love it.
Very nice too.
OK, moving on now. And the Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, has ordered Justice Secretary Alex Norris to draw up plans to prevent the early release of PC Andrew Harper's killers.
Yes, Number 10 said the PM is far from accepting of the situation, but insisted it's not possible to exempt all individual manslaughter offenders from the early release scheme.
Well, Deputy Editor of Spiked Online, Fraser Myers, joins us now. Good morning again, Fraser.
Good morning.
They're making such a meal of this, aren't they? They're the government. Surely they can just make a decision and go with it.
That's absolutely right. I think what the government is encountering is a kind of computer says no attitude from Home Office officials who've said, I'm sorry, this is simply not possible. You just have to go ahead with the early release scheme as planned. But you would think, well, it is possible. There are methods that the government could explore. Some of the options that Andy Burnham was presented with, you can understand why he didn't go for. So, for instance, he was presented with one option that would have said that people with longer sentences, say above 7 years, wouldn't be eligible for early release. That would have included Andrew Harper's killers. But that would have excluded, some people who'd been charged with rape and child sexual abuse, because some of them, for lesser offences, get lesser sentences. So he decided not to go with that. The really creative options, I think, are the ones that haven't been explored. Why are we not thinking about sending prisoners abroad, for instance, renting prison spaces from other countries? That's something that lots of our European partners do. Sweden to Estonia, for instance. Or, France simply makes up for its lack of capacity, it has the same capacity issues as us, by cramming more prisoners into smaller spaces. Now, these would only be temporary solutions. Longer term, we have to build more prison places, we need to hire more prison staff, we need a more full probation system.
Fraser, I'm going to have to stop you, I'm afraid, because your mic is the wrong way round on your shirt. So the floor manager's going to come in and fix that for a moment. In the meantime, I want to show you this image, because we're going to ask Fraser about it in just a moment. And Mark, you will have a view on this as well. It's the rise of the super dinghy. So we have images here starting in 2020 all the way up to now. And it's how much these vessels have grown in the past 6 years, Mark.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have grown from actually what you can see at 2020 there. They were just like the kind of dinghies that you would expect, no more than, say, half a dozen or more, although they always used to cram more on them. And then by the time we got to last year, we were heading to the mega dinghy size, so 80, 90, 100, more than 100. Then this year, we've gone to 160. Then just last week, a boat that caught fire had 173 on. And then yesterday, 230. Fraser, it just shows you the people smugglers in terms of their model here. They know that if they can push fewer boats out but still maximise the profits by just cramming more and more people on.
Absolutely, and the demand for these services is still through the roof, even though clearly the size of these boats makes them more dangerous. They're much less seaworthy than the smaller dinghies. There was a large boat, not quite this size, where the engine set on fire last week, and people had to be rescued from drowning in the channel. This is a problem that's going to go on. And I think, actually, the Sun front page hints at why this will continue to go on. It said that one crossing alone with 230 people is going to cost the taxpayer £25 million. That's because everyone who arrives here know that they're going to find accommodation. They know that they will be able to find potentially illegal work. They know there is absolutely zero prospect of being deported or facing any kind of punishment for breaking into the UK. And until that changes, the boats are going to keep coming.
And we should say that's 25 million A year.
A year.
It's not a one-off.
That's so hundreds of millions of pounds over the lifetime of these people.
And you can also see why it's not going to stop, Fraser, because it is so lucrative. The Daily Mail has crunched the numbers here. They say, and it could be higher than this, couldn't it, Mark? He was saying it could be up to £3,000 a head. But the Daily Mail have gone with the line of £2,000 a head. So based on the number of people on that vessel yesterday, we can't even call it a small boat anymore, can we? It's a staggering £450,000 in a single crossing. And that's why it's going to continue.
Absolutely. And, these boats are made to order. They're ordered from China. How they're able to make it all the way from there into Europe without being detected is extraordinary. You have to ask, how were they able to launch this boat from a French beach without being spotted by anyone there? Or perhaps they were spotted and simply, allowed to carry on. That, to me, suggests that our current tactic of relying on the French to sort out our problem is not going to work. This is a problem for us to deal with, and it's only going to be stopped if people realise that when they arrive, they will have to leave. That the illegal entry won't be tolerated, but it is being tolerated.
And the thing about them is, when they're deflated, they can fit into a box the size of a washing machine. And just a couple of weeks back, National Crime Agency reported that they had intelligence about a container ship that had come in to our port of Felixstowe. When they opened up one of the containers, they found 24 of these migrant dinghies all folded up in their boxes in there with the engines as well. So that's another way they're coming in from China using container ships, or they're coming across the land border from Turkey. They always seem, Fraser, to be one step ahead of the authorities. Whatever the authorities here try to do, they end up just adapting and overcoming.
That's right. And in a way, the small boats crisis is partly a product of the authorities successfully cracking down on people coming in through lorries or via the Eurotunnel. That's something that you don't see very much at all. But when people smugglers realised that they could quite brazenly bring people over on a boat in the middle of the day, often in plain sight, and people will just be rescued and brought to the mainland, they realised that that's actually a much more lucrative model, and we can bring more people at once. Again, the fact that this is such a serious crisis and it's been going on for so long, it beggars belief that the government still hasn't got a grip on it, because it is, one of the things that if Andy Burnham is doing quite well in the polls, he's taken over reform, but surely immigration is at the top of people's minds, and the small boats crisis is just the most obvious and most brazen example of where people are seen to be cheating us and breaking the law, and where our borders aren't being taken seriously.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Andy Burnham's been trying to dodge this issue and actually pass it back on to the Shabana Mahmood instead, hoping that she'll take any flack coming in on that. But I'm not sure it's worked out for him.
No. Fraser, thank you so much. It's been really good to see you today. Just so many views saying they love seeing you in the morning. Common sense and a great start to their day. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. I love the viewers too.
Yes. It's a love fest here if you eat breakfast. Thank you.
OK, Fraser, thanks. Now, a Ministry of Justice spokesperson said the death of PC Andrew Harper, going back to the issue there of the release of his two killers, was a horrific crime. Our thoughts with his family and friends, and we share the anger from the police community that we're in this position. It goes on to say, we've been clear that we wanted to go further and block more offenders from getting out sooner into their sentence, but could not do so without risking prisons reaching capacity and collapsing. If that happened, police could not make arrests, courts could not remand offenders, and there would be unchecked criminality on our streets.
Now, let's talk to a former advisor to the Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, Kevin McKeever, who served as the chair for Burnham's 2015 Labour leadership bid and advised him as recently as the Makerfield by-election. Very good morning to you, Kevin. Really, really good to have you on the programme. It would be really good to get an insight into the mind of the Prime Minister. Can we start with this listening tour that he's embarking on today? Do you think he's going to be listening to the family, the widow and the mother of PC Andrew Harper, who do not want his killers released from jail early?
Well, good morning. Great to be with you and your viewers. Yes, I think he will. The Prime Minister has already instructed the Justice Secretary, Alex Norris, to look at whatever it takes to ensure that the killers of PC Harper do not get onto our streets. I'm pretty sure, too, as he starts his listening tour this morning, he's in Derbyshire today. One of the issues that will be coming through loud and clear from people across the country will be ensuring that our streets are safe. And more importantly, that government can actually demonstrate it can make a difference in people's lives by listening. So that's Andy Burnham's priority as he starts his listening tour this morning.
But really, at the end of the day, a listening tour, who's he actually going to be speaking to? Carefully hand-picked individuals. This is all performative, isn't it, Kevin?
Well, he's listening to people. Look what he did just before he became PM. He was out in Wales, got a seat out. Anyone could come up. It'll be similar sort of exercise to that. You know, hitherto we're used to Prime Minister just listening to the Westminster lobby. So actually he's going to get a much wider range of voices than the last couple of PMs have had.
Well, we could give him an audience with our viewers. Maybe he would like that, but I doubt it.
I'll certainly pass that on.
Yeah, thanks.
Do you think, Kevin, he'll go for an early general election? You know the man. Do you think that he'll go for his own mandate? Because we're seeing a burn and bounce, aren't we? We've seen a poll over the weekend that put Labour above Reform. Not the first poll that we've seen, but there has been warnings that this burn and bounce is not set to last. So do you think he'll go early?
That remains to be seen. Look, the polling shows that PMs are never more popular than they are in the first 3 months. It always trails off after that. So I'm sure the team in number 10 in the Labour Party will be looking at that. But equally, look, we've got the budget on the 28th of October. The Prime Minister said he's going to set out a 10-year plan before Christmas. I think if in the new year we start to see that polling and a Labour lead entrench, then it's not impossible to be a general election. I don't think it's the strategy, but I certainly think it's on the table as an option.
OK, Kevin McKeever, thanks very much for joining us. Great to hear from you this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, shocking details have emerged after US President Donald Trump was reportedly smuggled away in a catering van to escape an Iranian assassination plot.
Well, GB News' US chief correspondent Ben Leo spoke to us about all of these details earlier.
Good morning to you both and to viewers and listeners. Yeah, extraordinary details, bombshell revelations, almost like it's from a film plot. Last month, President Trump travelled on Air Force One he was coming back from a NATO summit. He stopped off in Turkey, mysteriously, before heading back to Great Britain at RAF Mildenhall in Suffolk. However, details have now emerged that in Turkey, when he was on the ground in Ankara, Secret Service, the intelligence services had wind of an Iranian plot to possibly assassinate him. We haven't got details on exactly how that would have manifested. Could it have potentially been a missile strike on Air Force One? We don't know, but such was the seriousness of that threat. President Trump, bizarrely, and it seems appropriately now, was smuggled off Air Force One in an airport catering van. He was then taken onto a waiting Air Force C-32A, which is an American military plane, before flying to the RAF base in Suffolk. When pressed on the flight change in Turkey, Trump dodged the question but told reporters last month that he was number one on the list for Iran and said that he just fancied flying in another plane for old time's sake. But the details now suggest that the Secret Service, the intelligence services, thought the threat was so serious that, as I said, they did a sort of Jose Mourinho-style smuggling out of the plane in a catering van into this other military plane.
Well, thank you very much to Ben Leo there for that update.
OK, you're watching Breakfast with Ellie and Mark. Time now for your daily reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hello, I'm Mike, a Church of England vicar. Life is rarely easy, and once in a while we face storms that threaten to overwhelm us. The husband holding his wife's hand in the cancer ward. The teenager flattened by depression, wondering if I'll ever be me again. These are storms that toss our souls to and fro, and where we feel like we've lost control. Jesus' disciples knew that feeling well. One night they found themselves crossing the Sea of Galilee when a violent storm blew up. The waves crashed onto the small fishing boat, and even experienced fishermen feared for their lives. Meanwhile, Jesus was asleep. And perhaps that's the detail that most strikes us, because sometimes faith feels exactly like that. We cry out for help and we wonder whether God has even noticed. It's like he's asleep. And when Jesus wakes, the disciples ask a question that many of us have asked in one form or another. Don't you care? It's at that moment that Jesus speaks to the wind and the waves, and there's calm. Christian faith does not promise a life free from storms. It never has. But it does offer this assurance that when the storms come, God cares. And for his people, he is on the boat with them.
That's a nice message this morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
That when you're in the middle of a storm, God is there.
Solace
And he
is
cares.
support.
Yeah, very, very nice. Now, 20 minutes past 7, just coming up to, let's get a check now on the weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Lots of dry, sunny weather to be had through today, and it is going to be a bit hotter than yesterday, but temperatures rising further through this week. Now, there is some rain around across the north of Scotland. Here it will be cloudier and a few outbreaks of rain, but nothing particularly heavy. Elsewhere, for much of Northern Ireland, the rest of Scotland and across England and Wales, it is going to be dry. Not great news for those in desperate need of some rain with the ongoing drought, but yes, plenty of dry weather to come this week. And it is going to be a bit warmer than yesterday. Temperatures in the south peaking in the high 20s or low 30s, even further north where we get to low to mid 20s. It's going to feel pretty warm with generally light winds and some bright sunny weather around. Through this evening, a bit of rain affecting the Western Isles, perhaps Shetland as well. Elsewhere across Scotland, yes, there'll be some cloud across central, eastern, southern parts, but it should be largely fine. Northern Ireland staying largely fine as well, just the odd spot of rain towards the far west. And then for England and Wales, it's a dry picture through this evening, and we're ending the day in a similar note to how we'll have spent most of it, with lots of late sunshine. Overnight, England and Wales staying mostly clear and it will be dry. Scotland and Northern Ireland, however, it's cloudier. There'll be a few outbreaks of rain coming in, particularly Western Northern Ireland and feeding into western parts of Scotland, and some of them could be a little bit on the heavy side. It is going to be a relatively warm night, temperatures holding up for many in the mid to high teens, particularly in your more built-up areas. Temperatures are rising further then as we go into Wednesday, with more hot air being dragged in from the south. So with that then, lots of sunshine for England and Wales. Scotland, Northern Ireland and the far north of England, a bit cloudier at times and outbreaks of rain. Could be heavy, could be a bit thundery at times tomorrow, but they will be quite hit and miss. With all that sunshine and that hotter air coming into southern areas, well, temperatures going to be even higher than today, peaking around 33.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, do stay with us, still to come. A question for you this morning. Should Barbie dolls look like real women? Well, we're debating that because the new Barbie looks a bit curvier than before. We're asking, is the makeover woke or is it much needed? We're going to be debating that next, and Mark's very excited about it.
Yeah.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to stop. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me. What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans? Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account. You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way. You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Welcome back to GB News Breakfast. Been waiting for this all morning now.
This is your favourite segment, isn't it?
Yeah. Barbie and Ken. They're becoming increasingly realistic, we're told, with a new study finding their body shapes are starting to better reflect those of real people.
Ah, yes. Well, older versions of the dolls have previously been criticised for having unrealistic proportions that would be almost impossible to attain in real life.
But newer designs, such as Carvey Barbie, have much more realistic body shapes, bringing the dolls closer to the proportions of the average woman.
We've come a long way from your home and security brief, haven't we, Mark?
Just ever so slightly.
Well, we're now joined by the broadcaster and commentator Lizzie Cundy, who will have certainly something to say about this one, and the journalist and author Julie Cook. Morning, ladies. Lizzie, let's start with you. Do you like Barbie's new look?
No, I don't like Barbie's new look. Leave Barbie alone, please. Look, Barbie's a doll. It's not supposed to resemble a human. It's make-believe. And let's not go down this woke nonsense route. Look at the other brands that this has happened to, like Jaguar, Budweiser, that have lost absolute billions when they've changed their branding. We've got to leave Barbie alone. It's a billion-dollar business and we're going to ruin it. So please, I love Barbie. We have to leave Barbie as it is.
Yeah, Julie, chubby Barbie, come on.
Well, I don't think they're supposed to be chubby. I think, first of all, looking back to my own experience with Barbie, when I was in the 80s as a child, I had a Cindy first, who was a sort of a normal shape. And then I moved on to Barbie, who was suddenly stick thin, very tall, very ridiculously long legs, tiny waist. And I started thinking Cindy was fat as a child because I'd suddenly met Barbie, who was this incredibly unrealistic looking figure of a woman. Going forward in life, obviously now I'm older and I can see that that's me being ridiculous. But I think young girls in particular at the moment have so many other things to navigate and worry. We have the Ozempic culture now where everybody's suddenly stick thin all over again after having a sort of a hiatus and a break from all that for the last sort of 10 years. And I think if there's one area where girls can sort of chill and enjoy their lives, it's with dolls. And I think it is not woke to have dolls that look a bit like human beings. After all, they are meant to be playing with Barbies to recreate reality in their own little way. What's wrong with them looking like real people?
But who says Barbie doesn't look like a real person anyway? Look.
Oh, please.
They're a doll. Can I just
Barbie
tell
would
you?
kill for a body like yours.
Oh, stop. Lizzie, take it away.
No, this is making me angry. We're going to ruin Barbie. If anyone also has got a business brain on them, Barbie is $1 billion business. It's had a movie about it that grossed 1.44 billion. It makes, 1.2 billion in annual sales. Look what this woke nonsense has done to other brands, and we're going to ruin the brand of Barbie. And can I remind you, it's a doll. It's supposed to be make-believe. It's fantasy. And my Barbie actually could do the splits, and its head went round 360 degrees. I wouldn't mess with Barbie. I really wouldn't.
Julie, it's the same argument that we hear time and time again about the Victoria's Secret catwalk show, don't we? And the look of the Victoria's Secret model. Isn't the point that they are meant to be aspirational, that they are really meant to be at peak physicality and beauty for all women to aspire to look like? Surely there's nothing wrong with that. Not meaning that everybody can look that way, but they are really at the peak of their physicality.
It could be argued that, but I don't think that's why children play with Barbie dolls. I don't think you get your daughter a Barbie doll to say, look, this is what you could and should look like. I think you buy your daughter dolls, or your son nowadays, let's be honest, to play with them, to create worlds and to create stories and narratives around those dolls. I don't think a mother gets her daughter a doll and says, look, this is how women could look if you have a ridiculously long neck and as Lizzie said, if your head can spin and if your legs can be much longer than is natural on a human body. But going back to what Lizzie said about the film, I saw the film with my daughter, and one thing I noticed about the film, and I think why it was so successful, is it included different body shapes. There weren't all tiny, thin, blonde Barbies in the film. There were Barbies of different colours, there were Barbies of different sizes, and I think that's why this is happening. I think it is actually not just a woke trend. I think it's something people want to see.
Well, I totally disagree. Look, Barbie is iconic, and we have that nostalgia about Barbie. Look, when I see a Barbie now, it takes me back to when I was a little girl when I first bought Barbie, with the hair and the eyes and the look. You're going to change that and ruin that. Barbie, was created back in 1959, and it's been a massive, massive hit. Why change it? Why ruin it? Let's not go down this woke road. I love Barbie. Let's leave Barbie alone. And many little girls today want Barbie just to be Barbie. And it's a doll. Let's not forget, it's just a doll. It's not supposed to resemble humans.
OK, ladies, thank you so much for that debate this morning. Fascinating listening to you both. Really, really good to get your perspective. Loads of you getting in touch this morning. So do keep those views coming in. gbnews.com/you'll say. We'll share some of those after we tell you about the Great British Giveaway, because it's a goodie, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I mean, that last item just wasn't long enough as far as I'm concerned. Yes, here's your chance to win £65,000. Here are all the details you need to know.
Welcome to the Yellow Sea Restaurant at Paula Santi Domes Resort. We've been enjoying a golden summer, and you could be celebrating a golden win. Cheers.
There's 2 fantastic prizes to be won. First, an incredible £60,000 in tax-free cash that you can spend on anything you like. Treat yourself to the ultimate in 5-star luxury, or save that cash for a rainy day. Plus, if that wasn't enough, we'll also give you a fine gold bullion bar worth over £5,000.
It's a total prize value of over £65,000.
Just make sure you don't miss out, as lines will close on the 21st of August.
There's one guaranteed winner, and that could be you. So get your entry in, and best of luck.
For a chance to win, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Gemma makes an interesting point on that Barbie debate, saying, my daughter got a Barbie that was bigger than the normal Barbie size, and then she flat out refused to play with her because she wasn't Barbie.
Oh, I see. She didn't want to play with chubby Barbie.
She didn't want to play with chubby Barbie. I think little girls actually do want to play with a really beautiful Barbie doll. Anyway, let us know what you think. Keep those views coming in, gbnews.com/you'll say. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, says Charlie. Sorry.
Still to come. The Cabinet Office Minister, Sally Jamieson, is here next. We're going to be asking her about the government, how it's responding to the mega dinghy that carried 230 people across the English Channel yesterday.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M27 westbound is closed between junctions 7 and 5 near Southampton Airport after a fire. The M6 northbound is affected by a collision between junctions 5 and 6 in Birmingham East. The M40 northbound has an obstruction between junctions 10 and 11 in Cherwell Valley. The M25 anti-clockwise has a lane closure between junctions 25 and 24 in Potters Bar. In Scotland, the A78 between Dunlop Street and A8 Ratho Street is closed in both directions due to planned roadworks. And on the trains, Elizabeth Line and Heathrow Express services are heavily reduced to and from Heathrow terminals. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Britain is not just a geographical expression. We are a people bound together by history and culture that are distinctively British. Join me to celebrate our music, theatre, artworks and literature which we can explore and enjoy together.
Everybody's welcome.
Sunday with Michael Portillo. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back to Breakfast on GB News. We're now joined by the Cabinet Office Minister, Sally Jamieson. Good morning to you. Thanks very much for joining us this morning. Can we talk first of all about this migrant boat, this juggernaut of a boat that came across the English Channel yesterday with 230 on board, we believe. This is a really worrying development, isn't it? What is Andy Burnham going to do? He can't keep ignoring this system as he seems, or this crisis as he seems to have been doing really for the last few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, no one wants to see those scenes. It's absolutely abhorrent what the criminal gangs are doing, especially when we see children are being put on those boats as well. I don't think it's fair to say that we've been ignoring this issue. We've made huge improvements in this area already. 46,000 crossings were stopped as a result of our deal with the French. In July, we had the lowest number of crossings we've had for the last 6 years, and deportations are up huge. We had 70,000 people with no right to be here have been deported since we came into office. So a huge amount of work has been done, but of course there is a lot more to do. And I know that the Home Secretary and the Home Office team are working flat out to make sure that we're tackling the root cause of this and the gangs that are behind it, and making sure as well that we see real progress month on month, which we have been doing.
But
so
Minister,
a lot's been done, there is more to do, but I think people can have confidence that we're getting on top of this.
But the government obsesses with this 46,000 people stopped by the French. It's meaningless. It effectively is just delaying them, because they just disappear back off into the dunes, meet up with another people smuggler and then try again. All you're doing is delaying them.
No, I don't accept that, and I think it's important to stress that the government is working on this day in, day out to make sure we see progress, and progress has been seen. And look, I'm not sitting here and telling you that it's job done, because obviously it's far from job done, but this is not easy, but we're taking difficult decisions. We'll bring forward more action in the coming months as well to make sure that we're tackling this issue. But it's not just this country that's seeing this problem, it's happening in lots of other places too, and so our response is continually having to change to respond to what the criminal gangs are doing. But Andy Burnham, the Home Secretary, and the whole government is absolutely committed to making sure that this is a top priority.
Can I talk to you about the early prison release scheme? Because it seems as though the government is making a right mess of this. Yesterday, we were told that there was nothing that could be done about the early release of PC Andrew Harper's killers. Today, we're being told that Andy Burnham really wants to find a way to keep those two men in prison. We've got one of Andrew Harper's friends, an ex-police officer now, who's had to quit the force after being there that night and being so traumatised by what he saw. He's talking to The Telegraph, it's on the front page this morning, saying that the Prime Minister is spitting in the faces of police officers by refusing to block the early release of PC Andrew Harper's killers. He says it belittles police officers, it makes them feel worthless. And talking about Andrew Harper, he said that he did his duty that night, and the least the government can do is show him some respect. With Harper's Law, which was brought about by Andrew Harper's brave widow, Lizzie Harper, surely the legislation is there that killers of emergency workers serve their full sentence. Why is that not being enacted and applied here?
Yeah, so first of all, myself and Andy Burnham as well, and we all totally sympathise and understand the feelings of victims in this case, but also in lots of cases as well. And I think because Andy Burnham feels, as everyone else does about this, he's asked the Justice Secretary to look at options in order to stop these two killers getting out. In relation to the specific issue you raise around Harper's Law, that was brought in after these killers were sentenced, and therefore it can't be retrospectively applied, which is what makes it more complicated. But I know that the Prime Minister and the Justice Secretary are absolutely determined to find a way forward to make sure that we can stop that particular release.
Where's the long-term solutions? We've been dealing with these early releases for 2 years now. When are we going to start to see some longer-term planning? There's been talk of using holiday camps, potentially army bases, talk of Nightingale prisons, something that could even just be temporarily done in order to stop dangerous people being released onto our street. There was the front page of the Daily Mail yesterday. They estimate that 90,000 crimes are going to be committed as a result of people being released from prison early. Crime has a cost, doesn't it? A huge cost on society. So something has to be done, surely, that's better than letting all of these people out of jail early.
So a huge amount is already being done. We've embarked on the biggest prison building programme since the Victorian era. We'll have 14,000 more places live by the end of the decade. The Sentencing Act was part of that as well. And we also need to do a huge amount to reduce reoffending. We've put 800 million a year into probation to make sure that they're better supported to deal with prisoners when they get released. And we've put a huge amount of investing in tagging and monitoring. But look, as a former prison officer myself, I think it's really important that we think carefully about how we expand prison places. When people talk about temporary places, I think we need to make sure that they are secure, and we need to make sure that any ideas coming forward bear in mind the people that have to work in them and making sure that they're safe as well. So I think it's right that the government has embarked on a proper prison building programme of 14,000 places, of proper prisons that we can house offenders in.
Minister, we know that the Prime Minister is embarking this week on his tour. He wants to listen, we're told, to people right across the country. Here's an offer for you. We'll set up a town hall with GB News audience members. They'll have a lot to say to the Prime Minister. Do you think he'll be in listening mode? Is he going to take us up on that offer?
He's absolutely in listening mode. It's not in my gift to award you a town hall, I'm afraid, but I will pass it on. But yes, he's in listening mode. He's going to be going all across the country. He's going to be going all across the country to talk to people and hear about the things that they want him to be focused on, laser-like. So I think it's going to be a big summer, and I'm sure that you'll be invited to come along and have your say too. I'm sure he'll be in a town hall near you.
Yeah, we hope he does come on GB News Breakfast to chat to us at some point. Look, Sally Jamieson, you're here to talk to us about this crackdown on vape and betting shops on British high streets. We've heard this all before, haven't we? And yet we're not seeing any difference. Any viewer or listener on GB News will say that their local high street has been overrun with vapes and betting shops. So what are you going to do about it? And is it actually enforceable?
Yep, so today we're unveiling a new set of powers and laws which will enable local councils and authorities to have more control over their high streets, particularly in relation to vape shops and adult gaming centres. So this will mean that, for example, in planning, vape shops and adult gaming centres will be their own classification. So if local councils know that people don't want any more of them on the high street, they'll be able to turn around and say no. So I think this is a really important step forward. It's not the end, there's more we need to do, but it's an important step forward in making sure that local people get a real say on what's on their high street. It comes up to me in my own constituency in Doncaster on a regular basis as well, so I know how important this issue is across the country, and it's important that we start taking these steps to deal with it. I think that, you know, in a post-COVID era, obviously, high streets have changed a lot because retail's changed, and I think it's important that going forward we start to reimagine what our high streets look like and make sure they're places that people want to go. And there's really good examples of that around the country, included in places like Barnsley, where you've got your Health on the High Street programme and lots of other regeneration as well. So there's some really good examples, really good best practice, and this is really the start, building on what we've already done, but it's really the start of making sure in earnest that we regenerate high streets up and down the country.
OK, Sally Jamieson, thanks very much for joining us this morning, and thanks for being a good sport as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Do stay with us, still to come. As a new record is set for the largest migrant dinghy to ever reach our shores, we're left asking, how big are these boats going to get? We're going to go through that in the papers with Anna Firth and James Schneider.
But first, here's the forecast for some of the top European destinations.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hot air is never too far away across parts of Europe at the moment. The highest temperatures, the peak of the heat, has been across central and eastern parts, but we're going to see further hot air coming in from the west through the next few days. And with that, it's often dry, which is going to make the wildfire issue increasingly severe, albeit a few scattered thunderstorms dotted around, but these aren't going to be especially widespread, with lots of hot and sunny weather to come into the weekend.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Music, as anybody knows, from Scotland or Ireland, it is very, very important to us all here. Most of us can lift a musical instrument, and actually there's a great children's band on stage at the minute, but I've managed to capture some people here. Where are you from?
We're from Dungannon.
And why are you here at the Fla?
We're here just for the music, the atmosphere, and just the all-round celebration. It's a very proud moment for Belfast, and it's lovely to have the children out on their summer holidays. And I have a daughter who is playing and another one who's coming along to sing.
Well, let's hear you play. What are you going to play for us?
I'm going to play in a chair.
Well, go ahead.
Thank you.
The People's Channel. Dubes & Co. Weekdays from 6 p.m.
People that have lived in London have chosen to move out because they don't feel... It's not about feeling safe as much. It's about feeling that they don't recognise London as the capital city of England anymore.
Well, I can't answer for those people. I mean, I think, you know, there are places all over the country that change. You know, there is a constant churn. There are parts of London that were once terribly, you know, poverty-stricken and that are now gentrified and are full of completely different places, to the point that local people, local communities have been squeezed out. There are places, you know, which have changed because the demographic changes. But, I mean, that happens everywhere.
You can say that about Bradford, you can say that about parts of Birmingham and these kind of things, some of these areas as well. But if you look at London, it's always been a bit of a melting pot.
Yeah.
It's the capital of a trading nation. It's why we have one of the best stock exchanges in the world, why we have the most investment, you know, foreign investment into this country.
The People's Channel. Patrick Christie's Tonight. Weekdays from 9 p.m.
Michelle, how do you feel when you look back at that 5 years there, from where we first started in and out of those lockdowns?
Well, I've got to say, I've got to, right, first things first. I've worked on live TV for half a decade and I still forget to talk into a microphone.
Easily done.
What can I say? Well, you look back on some of that and you actually forget some of the absolute ridiculousness that has gone on in the last 5 years. And I think you summed it up well. When you go back to that period of the lockdown, the ridiculous control, the enforced vaccine mandates, you could feel like you was just going mad in your own little world. And to me, GB News, we really, really came into our own.
GB News, the People's Channel.
That is big, isn't it? It's huge. We're talking about this mega dinghy. Anna Firth and James Schneider are here with us on the front page of every single paper, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And Anna, we were treated, actually, just before the break, to Anna pacing the studio for us to give us all 49 feet of this juggernaut.
I mean, I was in my little inflatable dinghy at the weekend, going out to my tiny boat just off Leon Sea. It takes about 4 or 5 people. But I thought, well, what does that mean relative to this? And I have just walked the entire studio here, which is big, and that is what we're talking about. If you put it in terms of jets, this is bigger than a Southend Airbus, EasyJet Airbus.
Just for the benefit of the viewers, because they missed out on.
Right, let's do it.
Let's do it live.
Okay, so here I am
this is how long
at the end
of
the GB News studio. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Nearly the very end of your studio. It's absolutely massive.
That's a whopper, Anna.
This is a super tanker dinghy. It is the migrant mothership, and it should never have been allowed to leave a French beach.
How would the French authorities miss that?
Well, exactly.
A vessel the size of this studio.
It doesn't exactly creep up on you on the night, does it? In the night, they could so easily have got out there with their knives and just slit it all the way along, and then it would never have been able to leave the shore.
James, what's your party trick?
I can pace around studios, but can I? Maybe I can't. I do think not being able to see it, and I mean, from a safety point of view, getting 230. I know you do the Friday night live shows here, but you don't fit 230 people.
No, that's a rule. No.
And I mean, looking at it, you can imagine one bit of rough sea and that buckles, and then suddenly you've got 200 odd people who are in the water. I mean, it's clearly a terrible journey that they shouldn't be making.
I reckon this dinghy could have been seen from space. It's that big, and we're joking about it, but actually, you know, there were 20 children on this dinghy, and this is an absolute humanitarian disaster just waiting to happen.
Well, not only is it a more dangerous journey, just simply for the number of people that are crammed onto this boat, but then, as James is alluding to there, more dangerous rescues, because what are the chances of one rescue vessel picking up 230 people in one fell swoop? You can't do it, can you? Want to ask you about this. We've had lots of reaction to Zia Youssef, who posted this picture on his X account yesterday, saying that's not a small boat, inverted commas. He says it's an invasion. Now, this has been reposted, if you like, by Kay Burley, who used to present on Sky News. She says, I've seen longer queues in the 5 items or fewer aisle. Stop it. Just stop it. What do you make of that response, Anna?
Well, I'm afraid that's just a really, really stupid response, isn't it? And she actually, I'm afraid, is making light of something which is actually really serious, because 230 people, as we've said, including 20 children, is a really serious issue. And the other thing is that I thought it cost £41,000 per migrant per year. Now, if that is true, this one boat is £10 million. Now, I've read in the papers today, it's actually more like £25 million of taxpayers' money.
That's what the Sun's got. Anna, James, I'm afraid we're out of time with you for now. Here's your weather.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Lots of dry, sunny weather to be had through today, and it is going to be a bit hotter than yesterday, but temperatures rising further through this week. Now, there is some rain around across the north of Scotland. Here it will be cloudier and a few outbreaks of rain, but nothing particularly heavy. Elsewhere, for much of Northern Ireland, the rest of Scotland and across England and Wales, it is going to be dry. Not great news for those in desperate need of some rain with the ongoing drought. But yes, plenty of dry weather to come this week. And it is going to be a bit warmer than yesterday. Temperatures in the south peaking in the high 20s or low 30s, even further north where we get to low to mid 20s. It's going to feel pretty warm with generally light winds and some bright sunny weather around. Through this evening, a bit of rain affecting the Western Isles, perhaps Shetland as well. Elsewhere across Scotland, yes, there'll be some cloud across central, eastern, southern parts, but it should be largely fine. Northern Ireland staying largely fine as well, just the odd spot of rain towards the far west. And then for England and Wales, it's a dry picture through this evening, and we're ending the day in a similar note to how we'll have spent most of it, with lots of late sunshine. Overnight, England and Wales staying mostly clear, and it will be dry. Scotland and Northern Ireland, however, it's cloudier. There'll be a few outbreaks of rain coming in, particularly western Northern Ireland and feeding into western parts of Scotland, and some of them could be a little bit on the heavy side. It is going to be a relatively warm night, temperatures holding up for many in the mid to high teens, particularly in your more built-up areas. Temperatures are rising further then as we go into Wednesday, with more hot air being dragged in from the south. So with that then, lots of sunshine for England and Wales. Scotland, Northern Ireland and the far north of England, a bit cloudier at times, and outbreaks of rain could be heavy, could be a bit thundery at times tomorrow, but they will be quite hit and miss. With all that sunshine and that hotter air coming into southern areas, well, temperatures going to be even higher than today, peaking around 33.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M6 northbound has a collision at Junction 6 in Spaghetti Junction and a stranded vehicle between Junctions 13 and 14 near Stafford South. The M27 westbound is closed at Junction 2 in Romsey, and the M11 southbound has an incident at Junction 14 in Girton. In Scotland, the A78 is closed in both directions between A78 Dunlop Street and A8 Ratho Street. Across Wales, the M4 eastbound from J24 Coldra to J23A Mega is congested. And on the trains, Elizabeth Line and Heathrow Express services are heavily reduced to and from Heathrow terminals. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Welcome to Orlis Santi by Domes Resorts, and there's just 2 weeks left to see how you too could be enjoying the 5-star lifestyle. First, you can bank an incredible £60,000. We'll also give you a fine gold bullion bar worth over £5,000.
For a chance to win, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
At the stroke of midnight, the news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
Day in, day out. Forget stuffy late night TV shows. We're giving you a front row ticket to the centre of the political universe.
Because breaking news doesn't wait for the morning.
And neither do we. Join us for one of the most controversial and volatile times of politics in human history.
A very big story.
Big story over here.
You won't get this anywhere else. The Late Show live at midnight, every night.
Only on GB News.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline.
Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. The Prime Minister demands PC Andrew Harper's killers stay behind bars.
Yes, after weeks of concerns that the two men could be freed as part of the early release scheme, Andy Burnham tells his Justice Secretary to do whatever it is it takes even to keep them in prison. Earlier, Cabinet Office Minister Sally Jamieson confirmed that the government is reviewing the situation.
Because Andy Burnham feels, as everyone else does about this, he's asked the Justice Secretary to look at options in order to stop these two killers getting out.
As the Prime Minister sets off on his nationwide listening tour today, could this issue derail his efforts to reconnect with boaters across the country?
The day the small boats crisis became a big boats crisis. French authorities warn that there is no limit to the number of migrants people smugglers will put on a dinghy after 230 people arrived on one vessel yesterday.
Britain is baking once again. The country braces for its fifth heat wave of the year so far, as 3/4 of England is now in drought.
Lots of dry, sunny, hot weather to come through this week, and that's the theme for today across the bulk of England and Wales. A little bit cloudier across Scotland and Northern Ireland with a bit of rain. I'll have more details coming up.
Bombshell details emerge of an alleged Iranian assassination threat against US President Donald Trump.
And it's that very special time of year when GB News' Dougie Beattie dons his sombrero and heads to Benidorm. You don't want to miss that. It's coming up later in the programme.
Nothing says Benidorm more than Dougie Beattie on a bucking bronco, does it? Anyway, in sport, sprinter Amy Hunt wins Britain's first gold medal of the European Athletics Championships. UEFA now accused Gianni Infantino of deception, and Liverpool Football Club's about to get a huge Amazonian windfall.
Good morning, it's just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Mark White. Welcome to GB News Breakfast.
Have you two ever been to Benidorm?
Never been to Benidorm, I have to say, no.
I think I did as a child, but I don't think I actually have, and I would like to
You'd
go.
like to go?
I really would.
You need to book a boys' trip.
You think so?
I think it's a boys' trip kind of place, yeah.
Mark, so when should we go then?
Yeah.
Well, just
off to sunny Spain. Oh, have a pint on the side of the egg and bacon. But the thing is, Benidorm, because we have people that don't know, they look at Benidorm and think it's all built up, which of course it is.
Yeah.
But obviously started as probably the most beautiful
Little
holiday
fishing port.
resort or fishing
yeah.
port in Spain, which is the reason it became what it is.
Yeah.
But Doogie's been having the best week of his life, I think.
Is he really?
Yeah, it's the second time we sent him last year, and it was an absolute hit.
I'd love to be there with
the
Doogie.
viewers and listeners. So we've sent him again this year. It's become its own thing now.
It is.
It's got its own jingle. It's got its own graphics. Doogie and Benidorm. Let's have a look.
She lived in Spain for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I used to live in Marbella, and then I came here for my 50th birthday party, and we've just come every year now. We love it.
Oh, you're never 50, are you?
You're such a charmer.
I can feel romance might be in the air there between you and our guests.
Well, you never know.
What did he say?
You're going to get me divorced, Martin Domney. I swear to God, you're going to get me divorced. Oh, God, why did you get divorced? I spent the week in Benidorm for GB News. Yeah.
Viva Diggy Bitty, more of you in the next half. You make it out alive.
Bye. Bye. We're going to get Doogie in trouble on this channel.
I don't know. I think the wife is probably delighted that he's gone away for a week.
Somebody's just been in touch saying Doogie's wife is going to be on the first EasyJet flight out to Benidorm with a taser.
Do you think
After
so?
watching that, yeah.
Oh, Doogie's
No, I think she'll be a good sport.
I blame Daubney for the whole thing. That's what I think.
It's
There's
Daubs.
no
It's always
need for that
Daubs.
from
He's a
Martin
mischief
Daubney.
maker.
He is a
He is a bit. Now, he would love the boys' trip to Benidorm.
Yeah, well,
We'll have to
absolutely.
Okay,
Start
well,
on
get
that.
Daubney come as well.
Get it arranged.
Okay.
Just coming up to almost 5 minutes past 8. Let's look at our top story this morning because the Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, has ordered his Justice Secretary, Alex Norris, to draw up plans to prevent the early release of PC Andrew Harper's killers.
Well, Number 10 said the PM is far from accepting of the situation, but insisted it's not possible to exempt all individual manslaughter offenders from the early release scheme.
Well, let's get the assessment, shall we, of Shadow Justice Minister Kieran Mullen, who joins us now. Very good morning to you, Mr Mullen. Is it possible for the release of these two individuals to be blocked without exempting all individual manslaughter offenders from the early release scheme? What's your assessment? What would the Tories do about these two individuals?
Well, the first thing I want to say is that this must be incredibly distressing for the family. Lissy and PC Andrew Harper's mother have both been speaking out about this. I had the privilege of working with Lissy as a backbench MP on Harper's Law, and they're seeing from day to day different things being told to them by various government sources. So it was only a couple of days ago we were told there was no way they could be exempted. Now they can be exempted. We were very clear many, many months ago when this law was originally passed that we should be exempting serious criminals, like people responsible for horrific crimes like manslaughter, rape, child abuse, all those offences we put forward to a vote in Parliament to say they should be excluded. And unfortunately, Labour and the Lib Dems worked together to overrule our changes. And how here we are months later, and it's taken what is very distressing for them, the efforts of victims across the board speaking out about it to get this government to pay attention. Of course, you can exempt these killers. We should be exempting all killers from this early release scheme. But think about that. That's a very, very serious offence, whatever the particular circumstances. Of course, we're all focusing quite rightly on this high-profile case, but there've been many other families who were never in the news, whose relative wasn't an emergency service worker, who may well see the person that killed their relative in different circumstances let out of prison earlier. I think that's a disgrace.
I'm sure there'll be people right across the country tearing their hair out, listening to this, listening to politicians, even considering the release of any prisoners earlier than they should be, and the impact of the criminality back in their own communities. Why aren't you proposing what Reform is proposing, for instance, such as pop-up prisons, getting rid of foreign national offenders and the like?
Well, your channel covered very, very helpfully a couple of weeks ago. Kemi and I sat down with a number of the female victims of these serious sexual offences that were due to be released early. And even now, some of those are still going to see their offenders let out. And we were clear about our plan, which was that we should deport more foreign offenders, we should build more prison spaces, and those are things that we've been talking about for weeks now. I think the reality of what Reform have done is announce something on the back of a fag packet, really. It doesn't really explain how they're going to pay for it, how they're going to do it. We've said, as they've said, that we should be renting space in foreign cells, but actually they've talked about agreements with El Salvador and other countries without really explaining where those people will go afterwards. Will they take those people? Announcing something before you've got the detail, before you've got a credible explanation of how you're going to do it, might win you headlines for a week, but actually you need more detailed work. We're working on the ways in which we would build prisons more efficiently. But I think we shouldn't be distracted from the fact that this government has had 2 years to tackle this issue, 2 years to decide who it will and won't release. And here we are going back and forth from day to day without even a clear idea of who it is they think they're going to release early and who they're not.
Lay the blame at your door. They would say you only built 500 prison spaces in 14 years in power. You have put the prisons into crisis mode.
Yeah, typically we built more than 10,000 new prison spaces, but we made a mistake in closing too much of the older Victorian estate at the same time, and that's something that Kemi's apologised for, that we understand is something we've all had a part to play in. All I would say is that is not new to the government. Last time around, when Labour were in before us, they released tens of thousands of prisoners early, around 80,000 prisoners early, because they didn't build enough prison space. I'm someone that's been passionate about law and order issues for a very long time. I've spent some time as a volunteer policeman. I want us to put a greater priority on our justice system. I want victims to see justice done more readily than it is at the moment. But we never let out these sorts of offenders early. The Labour's previous government, our government, they did release prisoners early on occasion. I never want to see that. But these sorts of offenders were always excluded. Labour have taken a choice to let these sorts of people out earlier. And even now, despite the outcry, we still don't have that firm commitment from them that they're going to stop serious criminals from being let out of prison more early.
Could we just ask you about this mega dinghy, or maybe a migrant mothership that was spotted across the channel yesterday? How concerned are you about this shift in tactics to put quite so many people on a migrant dinghy?
Point people to what the National Crime Agency has said about this, which is that you need a strong deterrent. If you don't have a strong deterrent, you're going to constantly see the people smuggling gangs and the people that are willing to pay them finding new and different ways to get into the country. What we need is a solution that says, if you get into this country illegally, you don't get to stay. No excuses, no ifs, ands or buts. That's our policy. We said that we need to leave the ECHR to allow us to deport people, and we said that within a week, people that cross illegally will be deported back to the country they came from or a safe third country. That was what we had put forward as a plan towards the end of our time in government. I wish we'd had more time to implement it, and that is, I think, the only policy that is actually going to make a difference. It's what Australia did. The only country in the world that successfully tackled this issue is Australia, and they did that by saying if you come to Australia illegally, you don't get to stay. They reached an agreement with a nearby island. Everybody was sent there, and they saw more than a 95% drop in the people making the crossings. That's what this government failed to plan for. That's what this government refuses to accept is the solution, and while they carry on avoiding doing what they need to do, we're going to see all sorts of different things happening on the channel, which are going to continue to infuriate people.
Kieran Mullen, just before we let you go this morning, we just had this breaking line into the newsroom. I just want to bring it to you and get some reaction from you. This is from Angela Rayner. She says the Justice Secretary, Alex Norris, will announce how the government is going to exempt the killers of PC Andrew Harper and other serious criminals from its early release scheme when Parliament returns in September. What do you make of that breaking news we've just had in?
Not good enough. They've had months and months and months to figure out how they want to do this. To tell us that we're going to get, many more weeks of uncertainty. I'm sure, as I said, not just Lissy and PC Harper's mother want to know now what's going to happen. Other people who might be similarly affected want to know now what this government's going to do. It's simply not good enough.
Okay, Kieran Mullen, thanks very much. And a good point there. I mean, PC Harper's widow and mother are having to continue to deal with this for weeks to come then, until Parliament finally comes back.
And we've heard from Andrew Harper's mother, who's saying that the Prime Minister isn't keeping her updated on all of this. In fact, she's getting her updates from GB News, would you believe? She's hearing it through the media for the first time. We're also hearing from ex-colleagues of Andrew Harper, a man here on the front page of The Telegraph who's since left the force because of the trauma that he experienced on the night of his colleague's death, saying that Andy Burnham is spitting in the faces of police officers by refusing so far to block the early release of PC Andrew Harper's killers.
Well, of course, he's not got time to keep the family of PC Harper up to date. He's too busy going off on his national tour to listen to the great British public.
Or doing social media videos from inside pubs. Anyway, let us know what you think on that one. gbnews.com/you'll say.
Now, shocking details have emerged after US President Donald Trump was reportedly smuggled away in a catering van to escape an Iranian assassination plot on Air Force One.
Well, GB News' US chief correspondent Ben Leo gave us all the details earlier.
Good morning to you both and to viewers and listeners. Yeah, extraordinary details, bombshell revelations, almost like it's from a film plot. Last month, President Trump travelled on Air Force One he was coming back from a NATO summit. He stopped off in Turkey, mysteriously, before heading back to Great Britain at RAF Mildenhall in Suffolk. However, details have now emerged that in Turkey, when he was on the ground in Ankara, Secret Service, the intelligence services had wind of an Iranian plot to possibly assassinate him. We haven't got details on exactly how that would have manifested. Could it have potentially been a missile strike on Air Force One? We don't know, but such was the seriousness of that threat. President Trump, bizarrely, and it seems appropriately now, was smuggled off Air Force One in an airport catering van. He was then taken onto a waiting Air Force C-32A, which is an American military plane, before flying to the RAF base in Suffolk. When pressed on the flight change in Turkey, Trump dodged the question but told reporters last month that he was number one on the list for Iran and said that he just fancied flying in another plane for old time's sake. But the details now suggest that the Secret Service, the intelligence services, thought the threat was so serious that, as I said, they did a sort of Jose Mourinho-style smuggling out of the plane in a catering van into this other military plane.
Thank you, Ben Leo, for that update. Just want to bring you an update in the PC Andrew Harper and the release of two of his killers. Debbie Adlam, who's the mother of PC Andrew Harper, she's been speaking to the media this morning, actually saying that number 10 got in contact with her last night. She previously said that she isn't being kept updated by the Prime Minister or his office, but she said she was contacted last night to be told that the Prime Minister is looking to find a way to exclude two of his killers from the early prison release scheme. And that comes off the back of Angela Rayner saying that Alex Norris, that's the Justice Secretary, he is going to update the government and update Parliament when it returns in September on how those killers are going to be exempted from the scheme alongside other serious criminals.
OK, it's 8:15. Now it's getting hot out there. An amber heat alert is set to kick in across England today, with temperatures predicted to reach up to 36 degrees Celsius later this week.
And if that's not enough, well, almost 3/4 of England is now in drought. Is this the last heat wave of the summer, or could we expect more to come?
Well, the man with the answers is weather journalist Nathan Rao. Good morning, Nathan.
Good morning.
Thank you for dressing so appropriately this morning.
Yes, a very tropical shirt if you're listening on the radio this morning.
Tropical shirt for a tropical morning, another tropical morning.
I think people are a bit fed up of this now, aren't they?
I think we're all getting a bit fed up with this. I was just thinking, I can't remember the last time I've come into GB News and not talked about anything other than a heat wave. And this is heat wave number 5, we think, depending on how you look at it. Heat wave number 5 this week with temperatures, as you mentioned, back into the 30s. And that drought, which is affecting now 3/4 of the country. And this is the summer that's toppling records for all of this. And we're getting fed up with it, I think, a little bit.
It's so difficult for our farmers, isn't it? 3/4 of England now in drought.
Yeah, and I think as well as the very, very hot temperatures, the growing problem now is the drought situation and the water shortage situation. More than 20 million customers with hosepipe bans and water restrictions now. And as you mentioned, Ellie, the farmers are in problems because 3/4 of the country with drought, crop yields are not only lower than they should be, they're lower quality than they should be, all sorts of things, and that could quite possibly affect food prices going on later into the year. And half of the country really with no real sight of the rainfall that we need. And it's not really the heavy rain that we might get bursts of as we go through this. It's the long sustained period of rainfall that we get through autumn and winter that we need to replenish these water levels. So this summer really is taking its toll as it goes on for heat wave number 5.
And finally, do you think we need to now build into our sort of planning for new structures going forward, particularly residential structures for new homes, air conditioning, better ways of allowing these homes to cool down.
Yes, I do think that's a very fair point. If we look at the last summers that we've had, and this summer in particular, the ongoing problem we have of heat waves through summer, this is not a new thing anymore. You know, we talk about 1976 being that once-in-a-generation heat wave summer. It's not anymore. We're seeing this every year. And it's not just the summers when we talk about that, Mark. If we go into autumn and we start to see problems with flooding, then we need to start talking about how we adapt to the problem of flooding. Because of the dry ground at the moment, we do get rainfall. I pretty much guarantee we're going to start seeing a problem with flooding as we go into autumn. So it's all sorts of changes in our weather that we might have to start adapting to as we go through this.
And how long is this heat wave going to last?
This particular heat wave, Ellie, is going to come to an end on Saturday. Temperatures back down into the mid-20s, which will be a relief for all of us. But as we go through the rest of summer and into autumn, it does look like we'll see more of this going on.
OK, Nathan, thanks very much.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thank you.
Now let's get the specific weather picture where you are. Here's Alex Burkill.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Lots of dry, sunny weather to be had through today, and it is going to be a bit hotter than yesterday, but temperatures rising further through this week. Now, there is some rain around across the north of Scotland. Here it will be cloudier and a few outbreaks of rain, but nothing particularly heavy. Elsewhere, for much of Northern Ireland, the rest of Scotland and across England and Wales, it is going to be dry. Not great news for those in desperate need of some rain with the ongoing drought. But yes, plenty of dry weather to come this week. And it is going to be a bit warmer than yesterday. Temperatures in the south peaking in the high 20s or low 30s, even further north where we get to low to mid 20s. It's going to feel pretty warm with generally light winds and some bright sunny weather around. Through this evening, a bit of rain affecting the Western Isles, perhaps Shetland as well. Elsewhere across Scotland, yes, there'll be some cloud across central, eastern, southern parts, but it should be largely fine. Northern Ireland staying largely fine as well, just the odd spot of rain towards the far west. And then for England and Wales, it's a dry picture through this evening, and we're ending the day in a similar note to how we'll have spent most of it, with lots of late sunshine. Overnight, England and Wales staying mostly clear, and it will be dry. Scotland and Northern Ireland, however, it's cloudier. There'll be a few outbreaks of rain coming in, particularly western Northern Ireland and feeding into western parts of Scotland, and some of them could be a little bit on the heavy side. It is going to be a relatively warm night, temperatures holding up for many in the mid to high teens, particularly in your more built-up areas. Temperatures are rising further then as we go into Wednesday, with more hot air being dragged in from the south. So with that then, lots of sunshine for England and Wales. Scotland, Northern Ireland and the far north of England, a bit cloudier at times, and outbreaks of rain could be heavy, could be a bit thundery at times tomorrow, but they will be quite hit and miss. With all that sunshine and that hotter air coming into southern areas, well, temperatures going to be even higher than today, peaking around 33.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
OK, still to come, Paul has your sports update.
There's a new golden girl of British athletics move over Keeley just for a couple of days. Amy Hunt in the 100 metres. We'll talk about that in just a second. And her.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dormy, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain is not just a geographical expression. We are a people bound together by history and culture that are distinctively British. Join me to celebrate our music, theatre, artworks and literature, which we can explore and enjoy together.
Everybody's welcome.
Sunday with Michael Costello. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to stop. You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Welcome back to Breakfast. It's 8:24. Now, a devastating wildfire in the New Forest is now thankfully under control. But firefighters say they're going to remain at the scene for several days now to contain the blaze.
Well, Sky News South of England reporter Isabel Fekulak joins us from the New Forest. GB News, I should say. Isabel, in terms of the situation there, we know it's under control now, but I guess they must be worried about the potential for it sparking up again.
Yes, absolutely. There are huge concerns for the risks here, especially due to the dry conditions. As we know, 71.3% of England now in drought. Here in Hampshire, we're entering the 59th day without a rainy day. Now, I came to the outskirts of the New Forest to try and stay out of the affected area. But even here, just a second ago, a fire, a smoke cloud appeared, and firefighters have just attended the scene. You might see them working behind me in a moment. They're just to my left currently putting out that very small wildfire. But of course, they are still working tirelessly. They worked tirelessly overnight last night. They said that a change in the wind direction gave them an extra challenge. Of course, this fire started on Sunday evening as a van caught alight, and that spread to nearby Heathland, internationally protected Heathland, that is rarer than some rainforests. And I can now say that the area that has been affected by this wildfire is the equivalent to 140 football pitches inside. And if anyone has been to the New Forest, or even if you're watching this and you can see behind me, the horses may have just moved to my right, but it's so rich in wildlife, wild ponies roaming free, pigs, cattle, so many animals. So of course it's hard right now to comprehend the extent of the damage here in the New Forest.
And about those wild ponies that we can see there, thankfully safe behind you, Isabel. So thank you very much for bringing that to us. And you're going to have live updates for us throughout the day. Thank you very much.
OK, time to go through the latest sports news now with the legendary Paul Coyd.
Thank you, Mark. It's very kind. Athletics. We enjoy athletics.
We do. And we have a new star.
We do. Now. Amy Hunt. She's a 100-metre runner. It was... Actually, you know what? It was a little late for me. I mean, 9:50 to run the 100 metres final Is that me, or is it just... I know we go to bed early, but 100 metres and then the final at 9:50?
It's not just you. You associate, if it's taking place in the States where they're 5 hours behind, that would be a thing.
You kind of get it. Yeah, we've had enough of that with the World Cup.
In this country, you expect it 8 o'clock at night or something.
Well, anyway, it was a fantastic run. There she is, 24 years old, extremely smart, Cambridge graduate and a fantastic sprinter. Now, she's been a silver medalist, Olympics, Commonwealth Games silver medalist, but now she's gold for the first time. And also, it's the second time, because the last European Championships, it was Dina Asher-Smith that also won the 100 metres, so that's twice in a row now. And she's going along, and then 50 metres. It was all very close. She was 5th place and then just zoomed forward. So a fantastic gold medal. Let's hear what she had to say.
Oh my gosh, so euphoric. I could have screamed. I could have cried. Obviously, everyone knows I'm quite emotional. I'm not afraid of showing my emotions, but I'm trying to keep it as much kind of inside me because I obviously have 3 more events to go. But yeah, it was so incredibly special for me. This being the first Europeans in the UK and also a track that I've run at so much growing up.
It did worry me that there were quite a few empty seats as well yesterday. Did you see that? In Birmingham, I'm really surprised. But anyway, athletics normally full, hopefully, for the rest of the tournament. So it's in Britain for the first time in the 92 years that it's been running. It's never actually been held here.
Yeah, that's bonkers.
It really is. So anyway, it's Birmingham, head there. That's where the championships are being held for the rest of the week, I should say. And then we've got Keighley will be going on Friday in the 800 metres.
Can't wait for that.
Little word of Gianni Infantino.
Oh, why not?
Presidents of UEFA, CONCACAF and Asian Football Federation called for him to resign. They want him out. I mean, the thing is, after what we've seen over this sell-off plan then for the World Cup, rival international tournament, they're talking about putting together away from FIFA. I think these are just warnings. This is just trying to get rid of Infantino. Qatar support him. I wonder why, because they got the World Cup. Mexico support him. They got the World Cup as well. And Donald Trump on Truth Social, this is what he had to say. FIFA would be making a terrible mistake if for any reason they even considered replacing President Gianni Infantino. He is fantastic for having just presided over the most successful World Cup by 4 times. If he's gone, it will never be as successful or profitable. It's all about profit.
It's the word.
We think it's all about the football. Talking about profit, Liverpool Football Club as well. Jeff Bezos, you might have seen this is in a lot of papers, the Amazon founder. Now, it's not a situation where he is going to take over Liverpool. This is buying a stake in Liverpool, and it's not just him. So it's a third of Liverpool Football Club, American-owned, FSG as it is at the moment. And so for a third stake of Liverpool, 1.5 billion. 1.5 billion, and that's just to own a third of it. It's along with Amit Bhatia, who's the son of steel magnate Lakshmi Mittal, and Eduardo Saverin, who's the co-founder of Facebook as well. So they're going in. Looks likely to happen, but a nice little cash injection there for Liverpool.
For Liverpool, yeah, absolutely. Coity, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Cheers, Paul.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Well, if you want a stake in Liverpool, then perhaps once you win 60,000 in cash and 5,000 worth of a gold bar, you could do that. Here's all the details you need to know.
Welcome to Orlis Santi by Domes Resorts. I'm in one of their beautiful sea view rooms. Luxurious, right? And there's just 2 weeks left to see how you too could be enjoying the 5-star lifestyle. There's over £65,000 in cash and gold to be won. First, you can bank an incredible £60,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. That's cash you could save, spend the rest of the year spending, or just relax somewhere like here. The award-winning Soma Spa will also give you a fine gold bullion bar worth over £5,000. Just make sure you don't miss out as lines close on the 21st of August.
For a chance to win, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry starts at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Now do stay with us till to come. You're going to enjoy this.
Handre Hippa, yes. Doogie is in Benidorm. All the details coming up soon.
But first, Lee Anderson is going to be sharing his views on the mega dinghy carrying 230 people across the English Channel. Before then, here's your traffic and travel update.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M27 westbound is closed at Junction 2 in Romsey after a fire. The M20 eastbound has an obstruction between junctions 4 and 5 in West Malling. The M6 northbound is affected by a collision at Junction 6 in Spaghetti Junction. In Scotland, the M8 eastbound has queuing traffic and 2 lanes restricted between Junction 6A at Chapel Hall and Junction 6 at Newhouse. Across Wales, the M4 eastbound at J33 Capel Lanilturn is congested. And on the trains, Elizabeth Line and Heathrow Express services are heavily reduced to and from Heathrow terminals. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
The Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes and Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back. It's 8:37. Let's take a look at some of the newspaper front pages on this Tuesday morning.
Well, to start, in the Times, Prime Minister Andy Burnham has demanded a plan to ensure PC Andrew Harper's killers are not released early.
The Telegraph shows that image of a mega dinghy carrying 230 people that arrived in Britain on Monday morning. That's as French authorities warn there's no limit now to the number of migrants that people smugglers will put on a vessel.
Well, the same story leads in the Daily Mail, detailing the 49-foot inflatable used to carry more people than would fit on a Boeing 737 aircraft.
And as Anna Firth demonstrated in the last newspaper review that we did, it's actually the length of this studio, isn't it? Almost exactly. And finally, in the Express today, the Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, has ruled out introducing new taxes if her party is re-elected. Well, let's go through some more stories today, shall we, with Anna Firth and James Schneider. Morning again, you two. James, let's talk about the fifth heatwave of the year so far and the news, which is in the Express today, that almost three-quarters of England is now in drought.
Yeah, so that's 45 million people living in drought, but it's going to have massive impacts when the weather is not good, because the harvests have already come in light. The wholesale price for fruit and vegetables is already way up. Tomatoes wholesale price is up 60%, lettuce 90%, potatoes more than 40%. And this is not only happening here, it's happening, all over the world, all over Europe, lots of food producing places. The World Food Programme has warned that 49 million more people around the world are going to go into acute food insufficiency. And we've got a real problem with water here. The reservoirs, 12 of our reservoirs are about to run dry. We haven't built any new reservoirs since the 1990s, since water was privatised. The private water companies haven't built any new reservoirs. So we've got shortage of our infrastructure, we're not prepared for it, and we're going to have to change the way in which we live, because the climate that for 12,000 years or so, for all of human civilization, has been relatively stable, is now changing very quickly. July had the hottest ocean temperatures on record, which then changes things with big feedback loops. And there's real impacts. They've already had the research out for how many more people died in the earlier heat waves in the summer in May and in June, and that was 2,700 people in the UK, mainly older people. So we have to change quite dramatically the way in which we live if this weather keeps on happening, which it's going to.
And Anna, for farmers in particular, it's a real nightmare, because it comes on top of the fact they're already having to pay more for fertiliser costs and fuel because of the crisis in the Middle East.
Yeah, absolutely, and we really do need to support our British farmers, which obviously is something which Keir Starmer singularly failed to do with his complete attack on them. But I do think, though, that we are going to have to think more laterally about this, because take Spain as an example, which is hotter and drier than the UK, but is still the vegetable basket of Europe, producing heaps of vegetables and olives and food. Australia's the same. So we're going to have to adapt the way we do farming. But on this changing of temperature in the ocean, so Thames Estuary, obviously, I'm from Leigh-on-Sea. Now, we have massive amounts of sea bass now. We have dolphins. We even possibly have tuna coming into the estuary. Stingrays. But particularly the sea bass, you could see them on Sunday under the seagulls were sort of, all in one place on the estuary because of the shoal of sea bass. That is fantastic for us. But here's the thing. This thing about droughts, did you know that what you've got to do in hot weather is to drink water, to stay inside and perhaps not go out in the hottest part of the sun?
Take your clothes off.
Well, I'm not sure about that one, Mark. Perhaps not now, anyway, on prime time. But the UK Health Security Agency has told us that those are the three things we should do. How much do you think the CEO of the UK Health Agency is paid?
Oh, I dread to think.
Over £300,000 to give us advice that you all know already you can get for free on Google.
Well, I could do that for you for free.
It's a scam. It's a scam.
Oh, dear.
James.
Oh, dear.
It's a scam.
I think that was probably not a good use of their resources. They should be spending more of that looking at infectious diseases and pandemics and outbreaks. But there is a serious aspect to it, which is that
this summer, many thousands of people, generally older people, will die who wouldn't have died if it weren't for this level of heat. And our homes aren't set up for it, that we don't have cool places in every neighbourhood that people can go to. There are fewer libraries where people could go if they needed to cool down in the past.
James, honestly, we have had hot weather on and off for decades. You know, you're probably too young, but we can all remember
the long hot summer of 1976. Yeah, I know.
We
it was
coped,
nothing.
believe it or not, we coped without having to go to the library, without having to have some special cool place.
It's never. Firstly, the library did exist in 1976. It doesn't exist now.
My point is we didn't need to go there, James, because we knew about drinking water, staying out of the sun, putting some suntan cream on.
Of course we know. I'm not. You're comparing two things which don't stand up. I'm not saying that you need to know to drink water in a heat wave. Of course you do. But this is not the same as the heat waves that happened very occasionally,
yes, but
once
James,
every 20 years.
what I'm saying is we are wasting.
It's never been 40
yeah, but what
degrees
I'm
in
saying,
England before.
what I'm saying is we are completely wasting millions of pounds of taxpayers' money on quangos, which are coming up with mindless bits of advice that we all know.
We don't disagree on that, but I'm saying that there is a serious issue which you are not resolving by saying stay inside when it's hot. Or whatever the Quango advised, but there is a serious issue of keeping people cool so that they can stay alive when they're vulnerable.
OK, James, Anna, we have to leave that section there, I'm afraid, because we are waiting on Reform UK Chairman Lee Anderson, who's going to be here with us next, so do stay tuned for that. But first, before any of the above, let's have a look at the forecast across Europe.
Dinner under the stars tonight?
That reminds me of our travel insurance.
You mean All Clear Skies?
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Hot air is never too far away across parts of Europe at the moment. The highest temperatures, the peak of the heat, has been across central and eastern parts, but we're going to see further hot air coming in from the west through the next few days. And with that, it's often dry, which is going to make the wildfire issue increasingly severe, albeit a few scattered thunderstorms dotted around, but these aren't going to be especially widespread, with lots of hot and sunny weather to come into the weekend.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Patrick Christie's Tonight. Weekdays from 9 p.m.
Bev Turner, why is Britain worth fighting for and celebrating?
Well, having spent, nearly a year now in America, I'm always interested to see what other people think about the UK. Americans always talk to me about our history. When President Trump had the state visit, he obviously went away and thought everything that King Charles has, he wants a bit of that, a new ballroom, etc. And I think personally, for me, it's about we are the mother of all parliaments. So that history is real, law, the rule of law, and also our sense of humour.
But I tell you one of the things I think is so great about Britain, and they get a lot of flack, but I think our royal family is fantastic. When I saw that image of the Queen earlier, I had a lump in my throat, because we all miss her, don't we?
GB News, the People's Channel. GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Nursery rhymes are sexist and they are reinforcing gender stereotypes. This is according to academics in Pakistan. They've issued this warning to parents, saying that some nursery rhymes could reinforce gender stereotypes and they need to be cautious about singing them to their children.
It is absolutely absurd.
It's pretty bonkers.
It's absurd. Which one's the most sexist one?
So Jack and Jill Went Up the Hill is problematic because it places the male character first.
That's because
symbolising leadership.
Jill rhymes with hill and Jack doesn't. What do these academics in Pakistan not understand?
No, it's a fantastic point. Also, Little Miss Muffet in Little Bo Peep portrays femininity as emotionally weak because a spider frightens her.
Oh, for goodness
And the
sake.
fact that she doesn't know where to find them implies confusion and dependence.
The People's Channel. GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
British engineering giant JCB's bid to set a world hydrogen land speed record is surging ahead in Utah, isn't it?
Yeah, the company unveiled its aim to set the record with its JCB Hydromax car.
Well, Ben Leo, our GB News chief US correspondent, had the time of his life, didn't he? And he sent this report from Utah.
Welcome to one of the flattest places on Earth. GB News is here at the Bonneville Salt Plains in the great state of Utah in America to witness British engineering history. Later today, JCB is bidding to break the hydrogen-powered land speed record in a car of their own making for the first time in nearly 20 years.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Now, there is one photo which is on every single front page this morning. It's this one, a mega dinghy. Can we even call it a dinghy anymore, Mark?
No. Actually, Anna came up with a good name, a migrant mothership.
We were actually discussing, weren't we, that this is the same as a hovercraft. Hovercraft's got a capacity of about 250 people.
It was absolutely huge.
230 migrants on this 49-foot mega dinghy yesterday. Let's get some reaction to this with Chairman of Reform UK, Lee Anderson, who joins us now. Morning to you, Lee. What was your reaction to that 49-foot vessel that crossed the Channel yesterday with 230 migrants on board?
Well, not surprised at all, guys. I mean, this is an equivalent to a 737 Boeing jet coming over the Channel and dropping a load of illegal migrants off in our country. We always knew they were going to get bigger. And, you know, it's not that long ago that Keir Starmer went over to China and negotiated this deal where they would stop sending engines over for the dinghies. But what they are doing now is sending over bigger dinghies, mega dinghies, to get more people on. I would imagine that the net worth of this dinghy to the people smugglers would be nearly £1 million they're going to make for every single boat that gets in the Channel. And my goodness, I was in the northern France last week. How the hell can they get a boat this long across the dunes and onto the beach and into the sea without anybody seeing it? It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I mean, they're doing it, obviously, Lee, by going further and further south. The government's been trumpeting the fact that they've got more police resources around Calais and Dunkirk, but the people smugglers always stay one step ahead and just shift and adapt their tactics. I suppose from a reform point of view, it gives more weight to your argument that what needs to happen is for these migrants to be picked up by the Royal Navy and landed back in France.
It's the only deterrent, Mark, that will work. I mean, these idiots we've got in Parliament scratching their heads, wondering how to solve this problem. It's very, very simple. You pick these people up at midpoint or wherever, rescue them from the sea, which you can do under maritime law, and return them back to France. And any that do sneak through or get through in the back of lorries, they should be, securely detained in camps, not allowed to roam our streets, and then deported to a third country or to their own country very, very swiftly. Whilst ever we do nothing, and literally we are doing nothing, all we're doing, guys, is spaffing millions and millions up the wall, giving the French a load of money, close to £1 billion so far to stop this. And it is getting worse. I mean, for these people to be able to supply a boat that holds 230, 240 people to get across the Channel is unbelievable.
Zia Youssef posted about this boat yesterday on X, didn't he? He said this isn't a small boat, this is an invasion. This was then reposted by the ex-Sky News presenter Kay Burley, who says, I've seen longer queues in the 5 items or fewer aisle. Stop it, just stop it. Clearly taking issue with Zia Youssef's post. What's your response to Kay Burley's message there?
I don't really want to talk about Kay Burley. She probably needs to go and have an intelligence test or have her brain cells counted. I mean, if she's spouting nonsense like this, she needs to go and probably see a doctor. Zia Youssef is quite right. It is an invasion. We've had over 200,000 people come to this country over the past 6 or 7 years in small boats and in the back of the lorries. If you put all them into the English Channel in one go, that's an invasion. It's just been spread out over a few years. Kay Burley needs to shut up.
Lee, can we just ask you about Andy Burnham's tour of Britain, which is beginning this week? He wants to tap in to what the great British public feel. Do you honestly think that he's likely to get anything other than a carefully chosen audience?
Well, I think what Andy Burnham needs to do is come to a working man's club in Ashfield with me, come and sit down and speak to some real people in the real world. Look, guys, seriously, if he doesn't know what the problems are in this country, what's affecting people, about the cost of living, standard of living, etc., then really he shouldn't be in the job. He should know this already. And we all know what the problems are, what the British public face. It's the cost of living, it's the price of the electricity, it's the price of the gas, it's the price of petrol when they go to fill the car up. It's stuff like this that's affecting people, not just people at home, but businesses as well. So I think it's a bit rich. I think it's just another way where he can waltz around the country saying, look at me with my black T-shirt and my suit on, I'm the man of the people. He's not the man of the people. He's going to be a failure. And my prediction is, guys, he's going to be worse than Starmer.
OK, Lee Anderson, good to see you this morning. Thank you very much for joining us on GB News Breakfast.
Anna and James, I know you couldn't really hear what Lee Anderson was saying there, but obviously not surprised by the huge increase in the boats there. What is the government going to do next? What can they do?
Well, I think the first thing we've got to do is start using the right terminology, because these are supertanker boats, aren't they? They are. Let's say what they actually are. They are inflatable cross-channel ferries. And it's only when we start to actually talk about what they really are that we're going to start to talk about the actual solution, which is you stop those ferries from leaving those French beaches.
James, 20 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, that's clearly dangerous, and they shouldn't be there. I think we do need to have the ability to have cases processed on the other side of the channel, so that the incentive to come here is reduced. And I mean, one of these is going to sink at some point, and we're going to have dozens of people dead.
James Schneider, Anna Furr, thank you for your company this morning. Been good to see you both.
Thank you both
very much. Well, there's a wildfire in the New Forest, and firefighters are going to be tackling that blaze now, trying to stop anything from restarting in the next few days. Let's get all of the details with Isabel Fekulak.
Well, the wildfire in the New Forest is now contained, though firefighters are working tirelessly to keep it that way. That comes as parts of Hampshire enter its 59th non-rainy day, and 71.3% of the country is now...
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Lots of dry, sunny weather to be had through today, and it is going to be a bit hotter than yesterday, but temperatures rising further through this week. Now, there is some rain around across the north of Scotland. Here it will be cloudier and a few outbreaks of rain, but nothing particularly heavy. Elsewhere, for much of Northern Ireland, the rest of Scotland and across England and Wales, it is going to be dry. Not great news for those in desperate need of some rain with the ongoing drought, but yes, plenty of dry weather to come this week. And it is going to be a bit warmer than yesterday. Temperatures in the south peaking in the high 20s or low 30s, even further north where we get to low to mid 20s. It's going to feel pretty warm with generally light winds and some bright sunny weather around. Through this evening, a bit of rain affecting the Western Isles, perhaps Shetland as well. Elsewhere across Scotland, yes, there'll be some cloud across central, eastern, southern parts, but it should be largely fine. Northern Ireland staying largely fine as well, just the odd spot of rain towards the far west. And then for England and Wales, it's a dry picture through this evening, and we're ending the day in a similar note to how we'll have spent most of it, with lots of late sunshine. Overnight, England and Wales staying mostly clear, and it will be dry. Scotland and Northern Ireland, however, it's cloudier. There'll be a few outbreaks of rain coming in, particularly western Northern Ireland and feeding into western parts of Scotland, and some of them could be a little bit on the heavy side. It is going to be a relatively warm night, temperatures holding up for many in the mid to high teens, particularly in your more built-up areas. Temperatures are rising further then as we go into Wednesday, with more hot air being dragged in from the south. So with that then, lots of sunshine for England and Wales. Scotland, Northern Ireland and the far north of England, a bit cloudier at times, and outbreaks of rain. Could be heavy, could be a bit thundery at times tomorrow, but they will be quite hit and miss. With all that sunshine and that hotter air coming into southern areas, well, temperatures going to be even higher than today, peaking around 33.
Today's outlook: Cool, calm, and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M27 westbound is closed at Junction 2 in Romsey, with fire crews dealing with an incident. The M25 clockwise has an obstruction between junctions 24 and 25 in Potters Bar. The M11 southbound is affected by an incident at Junction 14 in Girton. In Scotland, the M8 eastbound has 3 lanes restricted at Junction 24 by the Helen St Turnoff. Across Wales, the M4 eastbound at J33 Capel Llanilturn is congested. And on the trains, Elizabeth Line and Heathrow Express services are heavily reduced to and from Heathrow terminals. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Welcome to Orlis Santi by Domes Resorts, and there's just 2 weeks left to see how you too could be enjoying the 5-star lifestyle. First, you can bank an incredible £60,000. We'll also give you a fine gold bullion bar worth over £5,000.
For a chance to win, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dormy, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get this on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Breaking news as the Justice Secretary Alex Norris is reportedly set to announce that the government will exempt PC Andrew Harper's killers from the early prison release scheme.
That's on track to happen when Parliament returns in September after the Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, demanded the killers stay behind bars.
Well, earlier, Cabinet Officer Minister Sally Jameson confirmed that the government is reviewing the situation.
Because Andy Burnham feels, as everyone else does about this, he's asked the Justice Secretary to look at options in order to stop these 2 killers getting out.
The day the small boats...
Well, what a difference a day makes. It was only yesterday that Number 10 told us that it couldn't be done, but the Prime Minister has refused to take no for an answer. I'll bring you more details shortly.
No, the day the small boats crisis became a big boats crisis. French authorities warn that there's no limit to the number of migrants people smugglers will put on a dinghy after a record 230 people arrived on one vessel.
Bombshell details emerge of an alleged Iranian assassination threat against the US President Donald Trump.
Britain is baking once again. The country braces for its 5th heat wave as 3/4 of England is now in drought.
Well, as that fifth heat wave is underway, here in the New Forest, firefighters are working tirelessly to keep the wildfire contained. The A31 remaining closed in both directions and residents devastated. I'll bring you further updates shortly.
Lots of dry, sunny, hot weather to come through this week, and that's the theme for today across the bulk of England and Wales. A little bit cloudier across Scotland and Northern Ireland with a bit of rain. I'll have more details coming up.
A new plan to save the Great British High Street. But is the Prime Minister simply recycling his predecessor's crackdown on vape and betting shops?
Yes, the crackdown on vape shops and gambling shops. The Prime Minister hopes it's a gamble that will pay off as he announces today he's going to save Britain's hollowed out high streets. I'll tell you how he plans to do that a little bit later on.
And it's that very special time of the year when GB News' Doogie Beattie dons his sombrero, goes on that bull, Toro Toro, and heads off to Benidorm.
Buenos dias desde Benidorm. Yes, we're here, day 2 of the Brits Abroad. Of course, this is very, very popular. Over 1 million Brits a year come to the Casablanca for their holidays. We'll be with them throughout the day and the evening. We'll have more throughout the programme.
He's doing very well to be on that beach so early in the morning.
I think those sunglasses are probably
hiding a multitude
very
of sins.
Tired eyes. Yeah, I think he had a late night, did our Doogie. Anyway, good morning. It's just gone 9 o'clock. I'm Ellie Costello.
And I'm Mark White. A very warm welcome to GB News Breakfast. OK, our breaking news this hour. The Housing Secretary, Angela Rayner, has just confirmed that the Justice Secretary, Alex Norris, will announce plans to exempt PC Andrew Harper's killers and other serious criminals from the early release scheme when Parliament returns in September.
Well, the Prime Minister, Andy Burnham, has reportedly told ministers that they must find a solution after weeks of backlash to all of this.
Well, there's renewed hope for PC Harper's family this morning, with his mother telling the media that the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff has been in touch.
Have you heard directly from the Prime Minister?
I heard from the Chief of Staff, and she said that he wanted to convey that he wants to do everything that he can and has more hope now of finding a resolution to this to try and keep them in prison. But for me, and it's hope. But I can't afford to be too hopeful, because we've been there before.
Well, let's speak now to Chief Political Correspondent Catherine Forster, who joins us now and is summarised there by the mother of PC Andrew Harper, who says she has hope this morning, but not too much hope because she's been here before.
Yes, we have been here before because we've been talking about this early release of these two killers for 3 weeks. Initially, the new Prime Minister said, I don't want this to happen, let's have a review. There was a review, there were several options presented, but the one that he went for exempted rapists, members of grooming gangs, serious child sexual offenders from being released early. But that meant that these killers would still be released. Then last weekend, we heard talk of possible exemptions for emergency service workers. It sounded like it was going to happen. And then yesterday at the lobby briefing, we only get one a week in the summer, Number 10 told us political journalists that it was not possible to exempt 1 or 2 people. So at that point, it sounded like they were basically saying, we can't do anything about this. But the fury over this, I think it's worth remembering because we keep hearing his name. What happened to this young man? He was 28 years old. He'd got married literally 4 weeks before. He was investigating a crime in Berkshire relating to quad bikes. His ankle got caught in a strap of the getaway car. He was dragged at 40 miles an hour for a mile, the most horrific event. So you can understand the fury. And I think what's happened is that Andy Burnham has seen the headlines, has seen the anger, has seen the heartbreak of the family, and has realised that he's coming in promising hope, promising change, promising to do things differently, to turn round and basically go, yeah, sorry, I think this is really awful, but I can't do anything about it, is simply not acceptable. So we now hear that he was apparently making daily phone calls about this. He was on holiday last week, but he was still discussing this. And he's turned around and said to his Justice Secretary, you need to find a way and bring it to Parliament at the beginning of September.
Because they're just listening to the same old civil service lawyers' advice.
Computer says no.
Yeah, exactly, that's it. And, you know, well, hopefully he has now got a bit of a backbone and is just saying, that's it, just get it done.
And it was interesting because I went from that lobby briefing on Martin Daubney's show. The former Attorney General, Conservative Attorney General Michael Ellis, was saying, I just don't accept this. They can make an amendment to the Sentencing Act. All it takes is a few lines, make, you know, a crime for if you kill an emergency services worker, you can make an exemption. So we will see. But for the family, you know, for his mother, for his parents, for his wife, it's heartbreaking, and the uncertainty just going on and on.
Well, this is it, isn't it? We spoke to Kieran Mullen, who is the Shadow Justice Minister, and we actually spoke to him just as that line broke that Angela Rayner had confirmed that Alex Norris would be speaking to Parliament about this and how they're going to block PC Andrew Harper's killers from being released. He simply replied, not good enough. More uncertainty, more weeks of uncertainty for this poor family, and the government has known that this was going to happen. Where was the long-term planning?
Well, exactly. And so, you know, you hear these Reform having this press conference yesterday saying we're going to send foreign national offenders abroad. Well, actually, a lot of them come from Romania, from Poland, from Ireland, countries that traditionally don't want to take back their people. Also, Nightingale pop-up prisons. Well, apparently there were suggestions. The government looked at converting former holiday camps, former MOD housing, but that would only be useful for very, very low security. But you still wonder, you know, surely there is a way. But at the moment, they're looking to release 5,000 prisoners early from October over the next 10 months.
OK, Catherine Foster, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. 9 minutes past 9, and councils are set to get new powers to stop so-called dodgy businesses taking over Britain's high streets.
Under the government's plans, local authorities would have more freedom to shut down vape shops and betting venues.
Well, let's speak now to GB News' national reporter Will Godley, who joins us now from Aylesbury. Very good morning to you, Will. We've heard this all before, haven't we?
Well, that's certainly something many people would feel. Welcome to Aylesbury. Good morning to you. This is a historic market town. For 800 years, businesses have been trading here. Back then, it was things like dairy and ducks that Aylesbury was known for. And now it's still a very pretty high street. But locals I've been speaking to this morning say shops have changed over the last few years. And so now on the high street, you have shops like this one here, a vape shop. And right next to it, well, a little bit further down, a gambling shop just next door, and that's something that the Prime Minister today is cracking down on. He feels that shops like these are hollowing out our high streets, and so wants to put a stop to any new ones from being developed, or certainly making it more difficult for them to get planning permission, because that's what's going to have to happen. Councils will need these kinds of businesses to apply for planning permission, and they'll be able to refuse that planning permission, as will locals, over these types of businesses. But critics of these proposals say it'll just lead to more shops like this one over here, an empty, hollowed out shop on the high street with no business and no jobs. So it's a policy that critics have a problem with, but Andy Burnham says it will help to make Britain's high streets stop being in decline once again. I'll be finding out what people here think throughout the day.
Lee, thank you very much for bringing that to us.
OK, time now for the Great British Giveaway. Here's all the details you need to know to win £60,000 and a gold bar.
Welcome to the Yellow Sea restaurant at Orla Santi Domes Resort. We've been enjoying a golden summer and you could be celebrating a golden win. Cheers! There's 2 fantastic prizes to be won. First, an incredible £60,000 in tax-free cash that you can spend on anything you like. Treat yourself to the ultimate in 5-star luxury or save that cash for a rainy day. Plus, if that wasn't enough, we'll also give you a fine gold bullion bar worth over £5,000. It's a total prize value of over £65,000. Just make sure you don't miss out, as lines will close on the 21st of August. There's one guaranteed winner, and that could be you. So get your entry in, and best of luck.
For a chance to win, text GOLD to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB22 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 21st of August. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck.
Now, a devastating wildfire in the New Forest is under control.
But firefighters say they're going to have to remain at the scene for several days in order for it to stay that way. Let's get all of the details now with GB News' South of England reporter Isabel Fekulak, who joins us from the New Forest. How's it looking there this morning, Isabel?
Yes, good morning to you both, Mark and Ellie. So the fire here, the devastating wildfire, is now contained, Hants Fire says. Now, they were working tirelessly overnight, last night again, and today they're going to increase their presence for a larger scale attack on the fire. Of course, though it is contained, the risks of it reigniting are very strong due to how dry the grounds are here. Of course, 71.3% of the country now in a flash drought, so risks are very high. Now, the fire started on Sunday night as a van caught alight, and that spread it to internationally protected heathlands that are rarer than some rainforests. It spread to an area equivalent to 140 football pitches in size, so it's hard to comprehend the damage to the environment. Of course, such a rich wildlife here in the New Forest, and also devastating for those that have lived here for their entire life. I spoke to one resident earlier who was distraught. Take a look. How does this, make you feel?
Upset, angry, I don't know, worried for the forest, just worried, stressed, yeah.
And you found kind of a bit of smoke this morning?
Smouldering smoke at 7 o'clock. And then I thought I'd better phone the fire brigade, which I did, and bless them, they came out straight away. But there's obviously a fire happened the night before, afternoon before, and there was one earlier on yesterday. So whether they started deliberate, I do not know.
OK, Isabel Fekulak, thank you very much for bringing that to us.
Now, still to come, GB News' very own matador, Doogie Beattie, is in Benidorm.
Ole! Yes, it's Benidorm, day 2 of the Brits abroad. We're here at the most popular destination for British holidaymakers, Benidorm. We'll have more right after the break.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way. You will not want to miss it, trust me.
The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Well, most of us here in the UK are enjoying a long, hot summer, but every year, 1 million Brits head to Spain. They head to Benidorm.
Yes, Doogie Beattie is over in Benidorm for us. First of all, come on, take these sunglasses off and show us your cerveza eyes.
How are you feeling, Doogie?
Yeah, that's a hangover. Never I saw one.
I'm feeling very good, actually. Yeah, we didn't stay up too late last night, just after midnight. We'd been on the go since early hours yesterday morning, and we were in the madness of the Strip last night. Yes, Benidorm, famous for many things. It is a fantastic holiday destination, but of course it does have its crazy side as well. And if you're out during the day, of course, it is lovely. And at about 7 o'clock at night, you'll get the best people watching you've ever seen, and madness beyond belief in the Strip. But this is a family resort, and it's all about Brits abroad, what they do on holidays. And joining me now is two men from South Shields. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thank you.
And how long have you been here?
So we came on Friday, we'll go back home on Friday, but this is the second time we've been here this year, so we love it really. It's like it's a home from home for us. Like South Shields is a bit of a party capital of like the northeast as well, so we've got the beach here, and it is just a home from home. It's great for children as well. The kids absolutely love it.
And you don't have to worry too much about the menu because there's lots of British stuff on offer.
Of course, you get the chicken nuggets and chips for the kids. Adults, we try like change with diet and try like a few different things as well, but it's great for the kids.
And I mean, today, we've caught up with you early this morning. You're on the beach, having a bit of fun. Haven't said that there's not an awful lot of Brits on the beach this morning. In fact, the Spanish now that are running past us put us all to shame.
They really do.
And I've looked at it and thought, would it be value for money? Is that the main thing about Benidorm?
It is, yeah. It really is value for money because you get whatever you want. You know, if you want the party side, you can have that. If you want that relaxation, you've got the old town as well. Where we are in the new town is quite relaxing as well during the day. Like you said, you know, you've got the beach, you've got the runners. If you want the activity side, you can do that. If you just want to relax, you've got that as well.
This young man, are you going into senior school now?
Yeah.
And what are you thinking of that?
Excited.
Are you? Are you really excited?
Yeah.
Not nervous at all?
Sort of.
And this is sort of your last holiday as a primary school child.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think you'll continue to come back to Benidorm with the family?
Yeah.
Of course you will. Of course you will. And the Benidorm is full of this, families like this all day long. It is fantastic for them. But I must say, the one thing that people are saying to me constantly is it's cheaper to come to Benidorm, fly to here, hotel, food, alcohol, everything else, far cheaper than Britain, and you're getting the sun. But mind you, Britain at this minute in time is also getting that sun, but prices in hospitality are a lot higher. Will the PM actually address that with the pubs and clubs and these working schedules that they're putting in place? We don't know. But from Benidorm now, I'm sure you're very jealous of us being here. And yeah, I'll rub it in. Thanks very much, GB News. It's great to be out here.
He's having the time of his life, Doogie Beattie there in Benidorm. You've even got your own jingle and your own graphics, Doogie. This isn't your first radio. This is your second time in Benidorm. Or can we go back to him, or is he gone? I was just going to say what it's like. What's it like there for the second year in a row? What, does it feel any different? Are you famous in Benidorm now?
Infamous.
Oh, yes. So what it said. Infamous may not be the thing, actually, but when people know we're here, I mean, last night, the word spread that we were here, and if you watched late last night, I mean, on Patrick's show, we were surrounded, absolutely surrounded. And if it's 11:30 here, you know what? It is, 10:30 there. We have the hour in front. It starts to get a little bit hairy with a lot of people full of alcohol enjoying themselves, but we enjoyed ourselves with them. And you know what? What an atmosphere it was last night. We even had the Swiss, the Dutch, and the Norwegians in with us as well. So we're looking forward to this evening and see if there's much more dancing and foolery going on about Benidorm. But today we're concentrating on the families and on those, of course, that those A-level results are coming out this week, and many of the families come out here straight after those results.
OK, Dougie, you go and fortify yourself with a full English.
Thanks, Dougie. Thanks, Lucia.
Andrew and Miriam, you're going to have a bit of Dougie in your show, are you?
I went to Benidorm when I was very young.
Oh. Did you enjoy it?
What I remember of it.
Oh, brilliant.
So you get to go to Dover. How come he gets to go to Benidorm?
We're
all equal.
One. He's glamorous.
Well, we've got plenty coming up on the show. This mystery about Donald Trump swapping planes at Anchor in July. How did he get away with it? What's the true story behind it?
Very good story.
He left all the journos to blown up.
That's a decoy.
Extraordinary story. And, of course, we're talking about Andy Burnham's U-turn, latest U-turn, and Andrew Harper.
And what's best for high streets? All after your weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather update from the Met Office. Lots of dry, sunny weather to be had through today, and it is going to be a bit hotter than yesterday, but temperatures rising further through this week. Now, there is some rain around across the north of Scotland. Here it will be cloudier and a few outbreaks of rain, but nothing particularly heavy. Elsewhere, for much of Northern Ireland, the rest of Scotland and across England and Wales, it is going to be dry. Not great news for those in desperate need of some rain with the ongoing drought, but yes, plenty of dry weather to come this week. And it is going to be a bit warmer than yesterday. Temperatures in the south peaking in the high 20s or low 30s, even further north where we get to low to mid 20s. It's going to feel pretty warm with generally light winds and some bright sunny weather around. Through this evening, a bit of rain affecting the Western Isles, perhaps Shetland as well. Elsewhere across Scotland, yes, there'll be some cloud across central, eastern, southern parts, but it should be largely fine. Northern Ireland staying largely fine as well, just the odd spot of rain towards the far west. And then for England and Wales, it's a dry picture through this evening, and we're ending the day in a similar note to how we'll have spent most of it, with lots of late sunshine. Overnight, England and Wales staying mostly clear, and it will be dry. Scotland and Northern Ireland, however, it's cloudier. There'll be a few outbreaks of rain coming in, particularly western Northern Ireland and feeding into western parts of Scotland, and some of them could be a little bit on the heavy side. It is going to be a relatively warm night, temperatures holding up for many in the mid to high teens, particularly in your more built-up areas. Temperatures are rising further then as we go into Wednesday, with more hot air being dragged in from the south. So with that then, Lots of sunshine for England and Wales. Scotland, Northern Ireland and the far north of England, a bit cloudier at times and outbreaks of rain. Could be heavy, could be a bit thundery at times tomorrow, but they will be quite hit and miss. With all that sunshine and that hotter air coming into southern areas, well, temperatures are going to be even higher than today, peaking around 33.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go, or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M27 westbound is closed at Junction 2 in Romsey due to a fire. The M1 northbound has a report of collision between junctions 9 and 10 near Redbourne. The M11 southbound has an incident at Junction 14 in Girton. The M62 westbound has a report of obstruction between junctions 11 and 10 in Croft. In Scotland, the M8 eastbound has one lane restricted at Junction 19 near Kingston Bridge. Across Wales, the M4 eastbound from J24 Coldra to J23A Mega is congested. And on the trains, Elizabeth Line and Heathrow Express services are heavily reduced to and from Heathrow terminals. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Britain is not just a geographical expression. We are a people bound together by history and culture that are distinctively British. Join me to celebrate our music, theatre, artworks and literature, which we can explore and enjoy together.
Everybody's welcome.
Sunday with Michael Costello. Every Sunday at 11 a.m. on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way. You will not want to miss it, trust me.
The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the